No one chooses the barnyard cult life, it chooses you. Because really, who suddenly wakes up and thinks, yeah, I might be inclined toward crusading, fulfilling prophecies, ritual sacrifice, and cleaning mounds of poop? Almost no one. But I did. Anyway, this here's me. A tiny, adorable vessel of divine violence, ministering my way to a full 100% in Cult of the Lamb. Every DLC included, the movie. So let's start from the beginning. Spoken through prophecy, a lamb was promised to liberate the one who waits below, but with a foreboding warning. Two cannot wield this power. As I said, this here is me, and
I am to be judged by a bush, a frog, a pussy, and a spooda.
Let's call them George, Michael, Ringo, and Paul instead. This gal can be the meddling Yoko. Apparently these guys have hunted down every last lamb of our kind to sever the thread of destiny, and I'm the only one remaining that shall be given the blade to preserve their old faith.
I shall bring the new faith. A good faith, an awesome faith.
I knew my prospects were doomed when Yoko entered the picture and swung her axe, decapitating both my head and future aspirations.
Ooh.
Intercepted through the heavenly plane, or perhaps a correctional facility, I met with the bishop's old buddy.
Let me guess. The one who waits.
The big feline seeked retribution for the bishop's wrongful imprisonment. His point of view, not mine. He offered me my life back.
All I ask is you start a cult in my name. Do we have a deal? Absolutely.
In return for my life, he expected a cult in his name as he bestowed upon my brow the bolstering red crown once worn by himself. With it, I shall strike fear into the hearts of our enemies.
By the power invested in me, I will kill all of you. I'll kill your families. I'll kill your children.
I never did track down their families, but I managed to slash my way to a secluded forest where I'd meet a guardian angel.
Ratau! My friend, my buddy. Fear not, I am Ratau.
Appointed as my guide of all things cult business, he informed me of the dangers ahead.
Ratau, what are you talking about? Danger? I'm the danger.
He directed me through a thicket of trees to make my escape. There I ran into Donkey the Mule, about to be sacrificed in the name of the old faith. And Ratau chimed in.
Rescue them and they would have no choice but to join our new cult. Our new cult, Ratau? Our new cult? I mean, you can put in an application and I'll go through it, but I'm not giving you any promises.
But Ratau was right. The filthy mule would be a great first addition to my new cult. Rescued, I sent him straight to donkey hell. Nah. But that is surely what it looked like. I reached our sacred garden's inner sanctum, where step 1 in Ratau's handbook to starting your own cult was to indoctrinate your first follower.
Well, to me, you look like Donkey.
Donkey was apparently very pettable, and by all accounts, a bit of a jerk. I dressed him in the appropriate cult attire and sent him off to collect wood.
And so the cult begins with a pickaxe and a donkey.
And a dream of global indoctrination. You know, modest goals for day 1. Donkey worked up a raging appetite. And to supply my colony with sustenance, I built a cooking fire.
Simple meal made from berries, 15% chance of the follower pooping instantly. Perfect, that's exactly what I need. It was red though, so that's probably a bad trait.
I'll leave the third trait interpretation to you. Though Donkey did lay down a big mud monkey from the berry bowl, which I joyously cleaned up for fertilizer. Next up, from the big book of starting your own cult, murder. Or to use the more diplomatic term, a crusade. So Donkey and I shot a giant beam to the sky and a path opened up through the green door of Darkwood. Equipped with 3 hearts and a sword, my murderous campaign for the first bishop, Leshy, commenced. Through my crusades, I would kill enemies and be handsomely rewarded. Collect tarot cards given to me by the prophet Klonek, granting me a power-up until the end of the crusade, raiding whatever stash of resources I would come across until finally I had ravaged my way to an audience with Leshy. Apparently stumped by my unapologetic survival, he issued a warning and told me to skedaddle on home. But I wouldn't be able to face my very large cult consisting of donkey should I now tuck tail and run. So I pressed on. In the next room, Leshy boasted about the loyalty of his followers. Like donkey ain't loyal, give me a break. And he unleashed upon me Amdusias, which looked like a giant salad turd and not a very tasty one. While I lunged my poison-infused sword at him, he boogered across the floor and snarfed icky green balls of ichor at me. Unscathed, I punched so hard the evil flew out of him, morphing him back into an innocent acolyte, which I sent straight back to the cult for indoctrination, of course. Gotta catch them all. I then got to choose between some lumber, rocks, and berries, with a bonus chest at the end of it. Moving on to the penultimate room, a quarter of a ring lit up. 3 more sacrilegious crusades before we face Leshy. Although my smashing efforts for this squirrel's meat was unsuccessful, my first crusade was an astonishing success, yielding a bountiful bounty to bring back to the cult. A cult that had suddenly doubled in size.
What's your name? I don't know, you just look like Cabbage to me. Welcome, Cabbage. Here's your team gear.
As Donkey chopped for wood, Cabbage would mine for ore. This is when Ratau informed me that my followers will either work or worship to generate devotion, but to do so they would need a shrine in which to bow their heads to. So I placed down this grand statue in the middle of our field for everyone to gaze upon.
Blessed be thy fruit, your followers can now worship you.
And so another follower was thrown into my lap.
Ah, Foxy the Fox.
Through Fox's prayer, he generated devotion. Collecting it awakened a divine inspiration that could be spent on new buildings for the cult. So I unlocked the temple, the now center of our cult, where I will preach sermons to maintain faith in the name of the Lamb.
Donkey, get in here. Put your back into it.
With the temple erected, I performed my first sermon for Donkey, Foxy the Fox, and Cabbage.
Preach, baby.
Drawing power from my followers, the red crown upon my brow grew stronger, and I could unlock new abilities for my crusades. Like Hearts of the Faithful, permanently gaining me half a heart, which is nice, I'll surely need it.
Bong! Sermon preached. And they thought it was a good sermon. I could tell.
So to maintain a thriving and growing cult, I would need to look after their faith, well-being, and hunger. Before popping out for my next crusade, I collected stone and prepared 3 delicious meals. Then it was time to pillage and burn my way through Darkwood once more, this time with the Apostle's Cleaver.
I'll cleave my enemies in 2. I'll take their meat, and I'll cook their meat and feed my cult. This game is dark, even though it's adorable.
Interrupting my sinister intentions, Ratau granted me yet another crown ability, as the one who waits was so pleased with my progress, which meant I could pew-pew my enemies even harder, using fervor for a special curse attack. The crusade turned out to be quite a busy one. Other than drawing a power-up and trashing a Dune popcorn bucket, I bumped into Rat 2. He dared me to go 3 entire rooms without dodging, a true test of restraint. Playing with the controller, my thumb restlessly hovered over the dodge button as I had to use my complete attention not to connect skin to plastic by habit. Impressed by my thumb's vigor, he left me a blueprint of brick flooring. How nice. But why would I ever replace my herd's grazing ground with brick flooring? I then met with the great Haru. Coincidentally, Ratau had sent me to gather commandment stone shards, used to declare doctrines and unlock rituals at the temple, so this was a welcome surprise. Then, finally face to face with the teethy grubber Valifar. He was a big proponent of jumping and blasting balls of fire my way. Though his hide was thin and my cleaver sharp, I sent him straight back to the cult and retrieved gold nuggets, along with another commandment stone fragment. This success earned me a summons from a major advocate of the Big Brother program, the one who waits, ever watching my every move. What felt like a feverish dream had me back at my cult, ready to do some work. Valifar remained Valifar, even though I regretted it almost immediately.
I should have named you Hemorrhoid.
Which is also something my cult would attain should they continue to sleep on the floor. So 5 sleeping bags would do for now.
What are we doing?
We are cleaning poop, thus upgrading the poop room, getting picked on by Donkey for whatever reason, and preaching a day 2 sermon, unlocking extra curses for our crusades. In addition, I declared my first doctrine, unlocking the bonfire ritual alongside the like and subscribe ceremony in favor of the algorithmic gods. God, I'm shameless. The ritual looked to require bones from our oppressors, which meant another dungeon crawl. I got the Traitor's Razor, the direct opposite of the Cleaver, with its lightning-fast attack speed. I kinda liked it, as I got more attacks to land quickly, but carelessness came with it, losing me a heart or 2. Fornius, the self-indulgent cat, was kind enough to give me another stone fragment for free, and desecrating the statue of Leshy angered the old faith. Fuming, he arrived with his whole entourage, or more likely his big brother and sister, because he's a little bitch. Anyway, Beetle number 2 told Beetle number 1 not to bother Beetle number 4 and deal with me himself. Beetle number 3 just kind of stood there looking useless. I swiped off their ambush, got an extra heart, imbued my dagger with poison, and before long, I met with the burrowing Barbados. He incorporated a volley of very questionable ooze and a spike attack. I consider myself lucky the developers decided to implement an impact indicator, or the hardest enemy in this game would surely be depth perception. My dagger proved too much for him, and I sent the horny devil back to Donkey and the boys. This meant that by the next crusade, we would take on Leshy. Increasingly worried I hadn't milked my followers' devotion enough, the one who waits offered his best sinister insights. A reminder that faith wasn't sacred, it was spendable, like gold. After all, a well-timed blessing here or there could always buy back their trust.
Manipulation at its finest. God, you're such a leader, you're such a leader.
He gave me the read mind ability, which meant I could now see how hungry, tired, or sick my acolytes are. Inspired by my success, Cabbage mustered up the courage to tell me that this place is a total disgrace. There's poop everywhere. I accepted his assessment and got to cleaning.
That's a lot of poop lying around here. That's 3 turds so far. 4, 5 turds, 6 turds?
That is a lot of wasted excrement. I unlocked both the farm plot and farming bundle, dressed Barbados for manual labor, and with enough resources finally amassed, placed down not 1, but 4 seed silos before gathering everyone for today's sermon.
Alright people, gather round, for I, the God of the Lamb, will tell you what to do. The Lord works in mysterious ways. I don't even know what I'm doing. That's why it's mysterious.
There, I also declared a new doctrine from the pentagram of categories. I chose law and order. I could either murder a follower or ascend them to a higher plane of existence. Which, you know, pulling back the curtain is essentially the same thing, but murder might be too upsetting for some of my followers. Obviously not Donkey, such a renegade that one. I performed the bonfire ritual, skyrocketing our faith back to full. And then it was time for Atao to retreat to his lonely shack. If I so wish, I could visit him there for more lessons from his great handbook of starting your own cult. After collecting Cabbage's praise for cleaning up his fudge cake, I constructed the boxes while Donkey was all up in my business.
What do you want, Donkey?
In his regular insulting ways, I had to put my hoof down, dishing out some hard love. But I also blessed him because he's so darn cute, just look at that mule! I then hiked my way up to Ratao's shack where I found a follower for, and threw dice with the Rat King, winning me a new tarot card. Finally, it was time to name the cult, to put my own stamp and touch on it. There were a variety of different names thrown out, but I ultimately decided on
Lamb of God. It's so obvious.
With enough divine inspiration, I could already upgrade the cult to level 2. And to utilize this God-given soil, I placed down a few farm plots with a seed in each and a sprinkle of holy water. I also erected this flower arch for a more inviting look to the cult before heading back into Darkwood, where I was immediately confronted by Leshy, taunting me to his most protected temple. Back in my hands was the trusty one-handed sword. Good attack speed, good range, and it just felt right, you know. I came across Rakshasa, who graciously offered a Wary Crusader 9 salmon, though in my gratitude I accidentally struck his beloved snail wife.
Look at this. Oh! Sorry. Is it okay if I kill your customers? You're not saying anything about that. I'm warning you.
A warning I couldn't help but ignore.
Ooh! Let him cook.
His love's honor was at stake, but luckily for me, his culinary expertise did not translate to the ways of the sword, or fork for that matter. He eventually promised to continue our business ventures if I would just spare their lives. Until next time, buddy. Back crusading, I ran into a peculiar fishman, hogging this entire fishable pond for himself. Worry not, he said, as he gave me the map to Pilgrim's Passage. He'd like to meet me there for some collaboratory fishing exploits later. It was a long, arduous crusade, and I might have left my cult on its own for too long. Anyway, I'd finally managed to break into Lesh's temple. Tired of my frivolous masquerade, he absorbed the souls of his followers and revealed his true form.
That's a leafy buttworm.
And in his image, he summoned tiny leafy buttworms, caused spikes to erupt, and fired more green globules of ooze my way. I only had 2 hearts remaining entering the fight, so walking away with 1 heart to spare felt like a tremendous success. That's 1 out of 4 bishops dethroned, and 1 heart of the heretics surgically removed. I got a blueprint for a trophy of Leshy, should I want to display my glorious conquest to the cult. And the one who waits sent for me, letting me know that Leshy's downfall was inevitable.
That's it? That's all you have to say?
A feline of few words, just the way I like him. Expecting a homecoming parade after this resounding success, I was instead met with sunken faces and growling bellies. Overall cleanliness and devout blind belief were also deeply challenged, with faith rather low. I threw together a meat broth and a tasty fish meal before attending to the withered body of Cabbage, having died of starvation while I was off dismantling the old faith. Burying him restored some of that lost faith. And out of the blue, Donkey made his shameful kink known, requesting to eat a bowl of poop, which I accepted because I didn't want to lose any more faith.
I'm gonna eat some poop. Yeah, I'm very jealous, Donkey. Gather round! When one of your brothers get lost, do not get lost yourselves. It is in trying times we need to unite against the heretics that is the old faith.
After those inspiring words, I enforced a sustenance doctrine, unlocking the feasting ritual, refilling hunger and rewarding me with 25 faith. I also harnessed the power from Leshy's heart, affording me the possibility to skedaddle on home whenever I wanted during crusades.
Whoa.
I cooked the requested bowl of poop and served it to Donkey. He became so violently ill that he regurgitated the whole meal.
Woo! This donkey guy just leveled up from eating a bowl of poop. That's something.
I built a farming station so that my followers could water the crops without my help, and made it to Pilgrim's Passage. As no one was looking, I stole these berries for the cult, and then investigated an extinguished lighthouse inhabited by this hysterical mini-cult of axolotls, clearly in need of some divine guidance. Reigniting the flame, they pledged their loyalty, and I could harvest their leftover devotion. Down by the harbor, I met with the furtive fisherman. Honestly, you're not fooling anyone with that sweater. To prove my worth, he put me to work. Commending my skills with the pole, he asked me to catch a variety of local fish tenants. And as a token of good faith, he gave me a tarot card. I had so far unlocked 18, 43 to go. For my first session, I managed to haul in a crab, which the fisherman gladly exchanged for a holy talisman fragment. I'll need 4 pieces to unlock a new fleece. Returning to the cult, I spent 2 points of divine inspiration, unlocking both a lumber yard and a stone mine for my followers to generate lumber and stone. The cult looked more like a labor camp than anything else at this point. Lesson learned, I prepared plenty of hearty meals before heading toward our next crusade. There, a chain broke on this door, indicating that I had 3 bishops left to take care of before either ascending to godhood or facing a final showdown to determine our fate. But what's this? To enter Anura, I required 7 followers, and I only had a measly 4. And Anchor Deep was no better with a hefty condition of 9. Looks like I need to enter Darkwood for a follower hunt. Might it be so easy? Haru, my spirit guide, forebodingly advised me to exercise caution. With Leshy gone, the woods had only grown more dangerous. I clawed my way deeper and came across my first helpless creature. He'll do just fine. I also came away with a big slab of meat to savor before facing the triple-eyed witness Agares. His powerful thrusts and many minions ate up what hearts I had left.
No! I fell!
But the one who waits interrupted what I can only assume was my ascension to a higher plane. And he was like, "Don't even sweat it, bro, I got you." And before long, I was back collecting devotion again. I unlocked both the Scarecrow and a tent upgrade to replace the sleeping bags. Basically, the speed in which I unlocked new buildings outpaced my ability to gather resources. I did, however, have enough to build a stone mine and a lumber yard, so hopefully we can build some more stuff soon. After some chores in the moonlight, I welcomed Puna and got to witness the power of the farm station firsthand.
Now he's got a little farmer's hat on. Donkey, you look great.
Another sermon gave me fervor of the righteous, increasing my total amount of fervor on crusades. And to prepare my departure, I performed the feasting ritual.
Feast! I hope we're not serving any lamb. That would be sick.
Indeed, that would be sick, but it wouldn't really surprise me. On another follower crusade, I went.
Ooh, hey guys! Am I interrupting something?
Seems like these guys really like their ceremonial sacrifices. I found a portal transporting me straight to Leshy. Unfortunately, this time he bested me, and I lost 25% of what was already a meager haul. Obviously, the cult was disheartened, but we had another follower, Moosey the Moose. Welcome to the cult, buddy.
You're pissed off. Why are you pissed off, Moosey? Let's see if we can turn that frown to a smile. He's not happy.
Tensions rose in the absence of crusading progress. Valefar and Foxy the Fox were at each other's throats, so I set out on another crusade, where I crossed paths with Kimak. She granted me the ability to harness the power of relics, and there was a whole plethora to collect. This seems to be our first real taste of the relics of the Old Faith DLC. At its core, it functions like Clonic and its magic tarot cards. Find Kimak during a crusade, and she'll grant you a relic for the duration of the run. Some relics must be charged with the blood of the non-believers, like this lightning strike, while others can be activated instantly, each with their own satisfying dose of bloodshed. I uprooted Leshy, but before returning, the one who waits needed my powers to increase at a faster rate. Apparently, I could do this by sacrificing followers and absorbing their life force. So he granted me the sacrificing ritual.
Not gonna do that. I'm not that type of cult. Fine, I'm going. Let's sacrifice some people. If you insist. Alright, people. The first one who talks to me is gonna get sacrificed. Donkey, what do you want?
Donkey began questioning his faith, spiraling down the path of the skeptics. So, in an effort to re-educate him, I read him my favorite passage from the Woolly scripture.
Oh, that was easy. Donkey's happy. He's evil again. He's mad.
Furious with the way I run things, I left him to cool down on his own and focused on expanding the sleeping area, as we had now grown the cult to a number of 8 followers by welcoming Cowie the Cow.
Ye faith bestowed upon me is bestowed in return upon you.
Wise words, as I unlocked Bane weapons, giving me a chance to poison enemies when attacking.
Unlocks have been made, and you had faith to spare. Awesome.
My follower count now meant we could finally progress and open the door to Anura, the land of Hecate, aka Michael, where I got my first Bane weapon, the Bane Sword. The land looked to consist of jumping froggos and many a mushroom top.
We're in the Mushroom Kingdom now, boys.
Hecate took offense at my desecration of her statue and cursed my followers back home with starvation. Though I burned with rage, time was running out for my poor, starving bovine creatures. I had to move quickly, but Anura was more brutal than Darkwood. The enemies were tougher, like this sword-wielding skeleton blasting fireballs in my face.
Ah, here he is, Guzion. Hecate's second cousin.
Even though he did the opposite of Leshy with his wild, vertical leaps, this guy was a total fraud. If that fight was any indication of what Hecate brings to the table, we'll be serving up frog legs as a delicacy soon enough. Another surprise grab from the one who waits, offended by the lack of tribute. To make his point, he placed an offering chest at the cult grounds, where I could trade resources for gold, though each offering yielded less than the last. Cowie the cow then informed me that when times are tough and food is scarce, which feels like always at this point, we can cook grassy meals with only the minor drawback of -5 faith per serving digested. Donkey was still deep in descent. So in addition to preaching today's sermon, unlocking another half a heart, I decided it was time to say goodbye to Donkey by sending him to a higher plane of existence. It was rather gruesome, but the cult seemed content. I also declared the faithful trait, so my followers would now generate devotion 15% faster.
A golden poop! What does that do? Golden poop gives me gold. Obviously.
With Donkey put through the heavenly meat grinder, Valefar was now the oldest of the cult, and he had officially reached old age, sipping on that sweet Kool-Aid of retirement. After blessing a whole bunch of my followers and giving good old Valefar a well-deserved scratch on the head, I unlocked the outhouse for my followers to relieve themselves somewhere other than in the bushes. But it required refined resources, so I unlocked the refinery too. And while Kermit watered the crops, I installed a scarecrow, though it didn't seem to do much about the crow problem. Back in Anura, Michael, Ringo and Paul stood before me again, demanding that I bow and submit. "I'll do no such thing," I said, which they then answered with violence. This mushroom monk told me to go and see Sozo over at Spore Grotto. A fellow these spores feared greatly, as they hadn't been able to acquire the mushrooms he so hankered for. With a leap of faith and a heart sacrificed, I was able to get my attack up from this giant mirror of truth, and with some more violence, I acquired a relic.
Cheese! A block of cheese.
I was never any good at using the relics though. Just before the boss room, I had a change of weapons and would instead swing the Apostle's Cleaver toward Eligos. I'd never seen such a magnificent bird-like creature with the most elegant wingspan and graceful flapping. It was really annoying. He unleashed a swarm of insects and flapped his way across the room. But I chopped his wings off and, damaged goods or not, sent him back to the cult.
Don't you worry. You'll be part of another cult soon enough.
Eyeing the tempting gold nuggets, I surrendered to the needs of the ravenous followers back home and chose a peck of pumpkins instead. And got a commandment stone as well. When I got back, Kermit was in the midst of preaching for my demise. But I couldn't do much about that, as so far I could only re-educate him once a day, and he required several instances of doctrinal correction. I threw together some food instead, including a tasty fish meal that had a 25% chance of a follower dropping valuable resources. And the state of this cult was absolute poop. So I cleaned some poop. I then put down a new lumberyard and stone mine, the old ones being depleted, as well as the new refinery for more refined resources, and then headed over to Spore Grotto to talk with Sozo. In exchange for menticide mushrooms, he would teach me how to brainwash my subjects.
Sounds like you're addicted, Sozo!
We all have our vices. Mine is the irresistible urge to exploit the goodwill of others and assert my power over the weak-minded. I also stopped by Pilgrim's Passage for another fishing session, and a relic was caught on my fishing line, and I managed to pull up a squid and a lobster, which I gave to the fisherman. In return, I got another red fragment. Preaching Day 23's sermon, I instilled a belief in the afterlife trait so that my followers would only lose 5 faith when someone dies. My gut told me that a bunch of followers would most likely perish in the near future, and this was a good way to mitigate an upcoming faith loss. I invited another cabbage to the cult and assigned him to refine resources.
Okay, I think the colony's in a good state right now. So let's go for another crusade, shall we? Hey, who are you?
Helob here offered followers straight off the shelves at great prices. This would turn out to be the start of a very beneficial friendship. Hecate interrupted my crusade once more for another famine. However, I found this little guy, so any deaths would be negated. I'm really treating my cult members like disposable livestock. The one who waits would surely approve. Speaking of disposables, the next boss, Sapphire, was discarded without even taking a single hit.
The mystery box. I always choose the mystery box. Always.
First thing back, I took care of the hunger problem, and was then terribly robbed by Tyon. Turns out, he was a spy all along. For whom? I couldn't say, but not a very good one, because I only made off with 6 golden pieces. Valefar had succumbed to old age, so I buried him, and I had acquired a necklace that removed the necessity of sleep for whoever wore it. I gifted it to Foxy the Fox, and then indoctrinated OG Kermit and Bloodclot into the cult.
And your cult attire? All for you.
I preached a sermon, unlocking the heavy attack. This was great, as I'd soon meet adversaries with shields blocking my regular light attack. Then I performed a bonfire ritual, skyrocketing my faith back to max.
What up, OG Kermit?
The new and improved Kermit asked me to accept an elder from another cult. Sounded like another spy to me, but I welcomed him with open arms and then built a few more beds.
Oh man, Kermit just left. Watch out for Helob. He's gonna get ya. He's gonna get ya.
Kermit leaving had me unlock the prison for future dissenters, and then I was off hunting for Hecate.
Oh, a flinky snakeo.
Another friend of Ratau's. I can find him over at the Lonely Shack for a game of knucklebones. I tussled with 2 smaller Gooshans for a while, and other than reanimated giant frogs, pools of poison tried to stop me in my tracks. Fornius gave me another commandment fragment, thank you very much, and I stumbled across a possible follower.
I'm surrounded by fools that don't see my genius. But you see it, don't you, lamb?
I didn't, so I left the sniveling hawk behind and knocked on Hecate's door. She responded by growing tenfold in size and unleashing whatever tricks a frog keeps in their bag of arsenal. A freakishly long tongue, thunderous vertical leaps, and apparently, explosive mosquitoes. I only had 1 heart left when a swarm of offsprings finished me off. My failure led to penance and self-flagellation, delivered via many shameful sweeps of my poop room. I declared the bribe follower doctrine, another way for me to increase the loyalty of my followers. And Barbatos wanted me to feed blood clot poop. Now, it's one thing to request a bowl of poop for yourself, but to force it down the pipe of another is just cruel. Though poop was clearly still on my mind, so I built an outhouse, built a few more farm plots, and replaced Fox's moon necklace with a skull necklace, doubling his potential lifespan. Delivering 10 hand-picked mushrooms to Sosa got me a talisman fragment, and I bested Flinky in a game of dice.
Immune to poison. Mithridism. You're full of surprises, Mr. Baggins!
While repairing the beds after a night of intense sleeping escapades, Cabbage made it known that he had given his all for the cult and now longed for a glorious sacrificial send-off. I wasn't emotionally ready to let him go, mainly because I needed every worker I could get. So I ignored him and focused on progress instead, unlocking the fertilizer silo while my holy workhouses continued to do wonders for the economy. I then headed for round number 2 with the red amphibian. I picked up the vampiric axe, giving me a chance to steal the life of a fallen foe. I tried it out on a bunch of miniature Hecates, but I received more damage than I could restore. But the one who waits is just. I got half a heart from this tarot card, and Ratau came in clutch with heaps of life. Facing Hecate, I now had 7 full hearts. She could throw whatever she wanted at me. I had enough life coursing through my veins to take on 5 of her should I so want. And I actually managed to lose only 2 of my 7 hearts. Proudly, I raised my 2nd heart of a heretic and finally got the homecoming party I deserved. Hattie had died of old age, so I disposed of him, and then Puna asked me to retrieve her lost brother. They had apparently gotten separated traveling through Darkwood. Admiring my farm, I realized the placement of some of these plots were out of my farm's reach, so I built a new farm station, adding a 3rd one for good measure. Rakshasa had set up shop across from Helob. Wise move. I always tend to favor local businesses, even when my business isn't always appreciated. And with Anchor Deep still sealed tight, I took another stroll through Darkwood, this time with the giant Warmaker's hammer. The sheer size of it had my tiny noodle arm scrapped for attack speed, but landing a successful blow inflicted some serious damage, while the tempered tarot card enchanted it with an occasional projectile while swinging, rendering it extra deadly. And Klonik tasked me to find his long-lost relic through a series of riddles. Being his friend can be really taxing on one's mind sometimes, seriously. I found my prized follower, and finishing off the crusade, actually managed to down Leshy without taking a single hit.
Order, beat Leshy without taking damage. It's an achievement. I didn't even try. Awesome. And I got a commandment stone fragment piece. And wooden planks! My cult is gonna be so proud.
The cannibal trait looked really spicy, but I chose the grass eater trait, negating the loss of faith when feeding my followers grass, which was great as the stores were stocked and grass was a plentiful bounty out on crusades. I built a fertilizer silo, so I could outsource crop fertilizing to my followers, as well as another lumberyard for them to slave away at while I headed out for another crusade.
Helob, another one? Are you stealing my followers and selling them back to me?
I grew rather suspicious of how quickly Helob was restocking, especially this close to my own borders.
Hell of a business plan, my guy.
Another beam and another sanctum unlocked. This time, Anchor Deep, the land of Calamar. He sensed my presence almost instantly and cursed one of my followers.
No, not Cabbagey. No, take me. Actually, take Cabbagey. I sacrifice Cabbagey.
Cabbage became gravely ill, puking his guts out. Off to bed before you die, little one. Anchor Deep had a cozy, almost cold but warm SpongeBob feel to it. It was kind of relaxing picking these cotton seeds.
I hate it that he's so scared of me. It doesn't really help that I'm killing his customers. He's gonna get a really lousy Yelp review.
Not from me, though. He's been nothing but accommodating. Kudai also happened to be missing a relic. I accepted the search for it just before arriving at Salios. He was a bit spiky, and he got me down to my final half a heart. Just when I thought his burrowing spikes would pierce my sensitive wool, he succumbed to my poisonous blade, and I sent the garbage back to the cult. I unlocked the healing bay for my followers, although I could certainly have used it on myself after that fight, and Barbados had drawn his last breath of old age, so I invited Balls on his head to take his place.
You know, I only have one refined material station so far, so chop trees. Yeah, next.
I buried Barbados, and the newly indoctrinated Uzi the Ooze requested a feast of epic proportions.
Hell yeah.
He deserved it for the way he handled that poop. My day 32 sermon nearly unlocked another crusade perk, and I manifested the ritual of the harvest, instantly ripening all the crops. The extended administration also led me to use a heretic's heart, granting me a deceased heart for my crusades. It functions like a regular health point, but releases a burst of damage to nearby enemies when taking a hit. To top it all off, Uzi got his feast.
Are you guys not picking the berries?
Unable to, as the farm station would need to be upgraded to level 2, another task I'd soon outsource. Crusading yet again, I found these two gentlemen lurking.
Clunko and Bop. I'm Clunko, this is Bop.
Clunko was known for his hardcore betting. During his last round of Knucklebones, he had lost a hand to a Tau. I'd have to take his other hand later. With the Tarot card, I gained another heart, and the enemies were even larger in Anchor Deep. I thought this to be a mini-boss until the next room, where an even larger foe swung at me. I then found Anon. I could see in his scarlet red eyes that my way of peace would not satisfy his insatiable lust for violence.
Talking about cowards, you're sitting here weeping.
I don't want any whining hypocrites in the cult.
I cast a plague upon your cult again? On 5 of my beautiful Moosey, Puna, Foxy the Fox, Cabbagey. Cabbagey again? God, you gotta be really tired, Cabbagey.
What a champ. Pulling through this ordeal twice in a row. Guts of steel, that one. With almost full health, I was full of confidence going into the fight with Hobberim, but he proved my fighting skills were still under par.
No, my followers, my cult. They're gonna lose faith! Ugh. It's a good haul though, even though I lost 25% of it.
Back home, I sent my followers straight to bed and cleaned up a sea of poop. The outhouses wasn't even full, by the way. I guess the queue was just too long, and necessity knows no law. With most of my followers bedridden thanks to Calamar, today's turnout for the sermon in the House of the Lamb was below expectations. But I still earned Might of the Devout too, and I could declare the Inspired Doctrine, replacing the Bless action with an inspirational dance to significantly increase follower loyalty. The crypt upgrade had me replace the graves, so I placed 2, and I wanted to perform a ritual to top off my declining faith due to my recent crusading failure. But I wasn't going to fumble twice in a row, so I headed out for a redemption campaign. This guy didn't give me the crazy eyes, so he's now pending initiation. And though Hobberim's spiraling fireballs were still fiery as ever, I popped him like a balloon. Overjoyed by my success, I saw my followers to bed while inviting these two to the cult. And Mr. Bovine Jovi himself asked me to open my heart to an additional 2 starving followers, raising the cult to a staggering number of 15 followers. This led me to unlock the janitor station, so they could finally clean up their own filth, set up a medical bay, introduced a few tents, and before long, I was doing the dirty work of exhuming bodies and re-entering them in the new and improved crypt. Very cozy for an endless slumber. Low on cash, I offered a variety of goods to my dark benefactor, including what I can only assume is the remains of Donkey. And with 100 gold flush, I gambled the day away with Clunko and Bop.
Ooh, a 6. Not bad. For a worm and a bird.
But not good enough. I'll take that second hand now, Clunko. Bop, you're alright. I finally made a fungi deliver to Sozo, and he showed me how to brainwash my cult, locking faith at full for 2 whole days.
Thanks, Sozo.
He also gave me a quarter of a fragment, completing this talisman. And I stopped by for a visit at the fisherman, delivering the squid and lobster he ordered. That's another 2 quarter pieces.
You have a quest from me, Blue Balls? Great leader, I have already given everything I own to you. Now I wish also to give my life. Please sacrifice me in your glorious name. Hell yeah!
The whole cult took part in the celebrations.
This is so wrong.
Then why does it feel so right? With the Fleece of the Fates unlocked and equipped, I dove into Anchor Deep, immediately drawing 4 tarot cards. But it meant I wouldn't find any new ones during the crusade. I found hops suitable for brewing beer and ran into quite the shady character.
Howdy, Plimbo!
He invited me over to take a look at his goods down at Smuggler's Sanctuary.
I'm getting a bad vibe from Plimbo. There's no way he's acquired these goods legally.
I annihilated this room packed with gremlins until it was time to face Balsebob, a floating jellyfish of some kind. Every tentacle stroke popped out a wave of fireballs.
Trying to do a heavy attack. Oh, that did massive damage.
I whiffed my chance of a killing blow.
Ah!
But this jelly had nowhere to bounce. The propaganda speakers would go a long way in increasing worker productivity, and with 2 more followers indoctrinated, the cult grew.
People, animals, hooves, feet and hands, believers, disbelievers, we have gathered here today to celebrate. This is the cult's 2nd anniversary. Join me in prayer. And to celebrate, we will do something. We won't celebrate this anniversary because it's a shitty anniversary anyway, because we had full faith.
Keep him guessing, I guess. Cabbage had come across some rather sensitive information that needed to be handled delicately. He suspected Uzi of espionage and wanted me to deal with him directly, and Moosey died. I crammed Pumbaa into the medical bay, healing his afflictions instantaneously, and then headed to Smuggler's Sanctuary.
Plumbus, my man.
Plimbo was adamant I owed him a ship, or at the very least a few eyes of the witness he could sell for a new one. You see, me discarding all of those bishops caused mayhem out at sea, and ended with his vessel at the bottom. Lurking some more, I peered into the darkness when a hooded creature suddenly emerged. He found my lack of fear curious and asked me to satiate his ravenous hunger. All he wanted was an old fish. He seemed harmless, so I obliged. On the prowl again, I fought my way to Kalamar's temple, and had grown rather fond of the hammer's heavy attack, though it was not always suitable for the fast-paced encounters.
Kalima! You do not understand, lamb. Heed my warning and stay away. It's too late, I'm already here.
He reminded me of the Hindu goddess Kali, all arms and chaos. His mouth was an endless pit of darkness, and just like Aquaman, he bent the will of twisted sea creatures. This is where the hammer's slow swing really screwed me over, and I got taken out by his nasty charged-up attack. Kalamar was merely a setback, and when I returned home, I upgraded the cult to level 3, unlocking heaps of potential upgrades. I then inspired the troops so hard that Puna's old and fragile heart gave up. Off to the crypt, buddy. After talking it over with Uzi and accepting his flattery as proof he wasn't a spy, I told Cabbage everything was fine, but he wasn't convinced. He thought Uzi was playing me like a fiddle. I equipped the labor fields with propaganda speakers, built 2 new outhouses for peeps and poops, added another refinery, and increased the bedding comfort with additional tents. I then performed the brainwashing ritual, courtesy of Sozo. That way, no matter how many Kalamar failures I racked up, my followers would remain blissfully oblivious. And I'm glad I did, because when I got him down to where a final blow would deliver his demise, I died. I clearly killed him. This is an absolute disgrace. What a robbery.
Oh, the cult is gonna be...
Disappointed. Enters Sozo. Thanks, buddy.
Likes to cause mischief. Ah, another one of those, eh?
I welcomed both Hippie and Croco to the cult.
What do you have? Haha, you died, you suck.
Turns out they still knew of my failure. They just didn't lose any faith.
You're on the list. I'm not falling for that one again, Hippie. No. Leave. Leave. I want nothing to do with you. You're an asshole. Glorious leader, the base is an eyesore. We need a beauty to celebrate your glory. Let us build decorations. You just insulted my non-gloriness. Yeah, I'll... What the did you just hit me? Hippie snatched. Hippie. You've been a member for 2 seconds and you've really touched a nerve with me, Hippie. Get...
I was too weak for an actual sacrifice, so I just ascended him to a higher plane. He's someone else's problem now. I finally acquired and built Farm Station Level 2, so my followers could harvest the crops without my help. And with faith locked, all I had to take care of was their hunger. Realizing I could sell rare fish at the offering chest, I got a brilliant idea. Buy the fish directly from the source and resell it over by the cult. But the fishermen's prices were quite exorbitant, and the numbers didn't pan out the way I wanted them to. Oh, and I died a 3rd time to Kalmar, by the way. My followers had snapped out of their trance, so I fired up a bonfire ritual to boost faith before diving back into Anchor Deep. With a chip on my shoulder and a hefty amount of hearts, he sent a disturbingly high amount of crustaceans my way. But utilizing the exploding jellyfish, I was able to weaken their numbers, and I finished him off with a sweet tentacle move. Good riddance, said the one who waits, before sending me back to take part in the celebrations. Animal then said a few foreboding words about skeptics and heretics wanting to join the cult. He would have me welcome 2 dissenting followers.
Nah. I don't think so. Buddy.
I had yet to acquire the tools needed to re-educate 1 follower quickly enough, let alone 2. They would surely have the entire cult rise up against me within a few days.
Whomp.
Trunk here was an abhorrently loud snorer, so I had to place his tent by the wayside not to disturb anyone, and I loaded up the propaganda speaker for the upcoming workday.
Do I have a commandment upgrade? I do.
I declared the belief in false idols doctrine, gaining a small boost in faith whenever I put up decorations. And after devouring Kalamar's heart, I unlocked the Hunger, a perk that lets me consume a meal once per crusade to gain a heart. I reckon it would have been supremely overpowered if I'd ever actually remembered to use it.
What's happening now? What's this? Snakes? Danger noodles? What's going on?
Sin slithered into our Garden of Eden, whispering sweet lies, and we listened. We ate the forbidden fruit and lost our innocence. Now, through these contraptions, I can siphon sin through my followers to unlock more perks, strengthen our temple, and even hatch new disciples.
Well, right of lust, of course, it's gonna be some. Of course, I'm gonna declare the new lust doctrine. A right of lust, yes, of course, of course. Hey, everybody! Sex party! Oh my god, they're all naked.
A consequence usually followed after someone yells out sex party. I chose Trunk as our Mayflower leader. He began floating and speaking in tongues, utterly consumed by his sinful ways. By the ram, the lamb, and the holy hoof, I absolved him, harvested my first sin, and restored his inner peace. Pumbaa was suitably unimpressed by the standards of the cult, so I told him I'd liven up the place with a few decorations.
Cow with a cow. Oh my god, cover up, you're old. Nobody wants to see that.
So far, I only had one designated plot of agriculture. It barely covered our needs. So I built another plot over here and then sent Foxy the Fox on a diplomatic mission to find more lumber.
I don't like that you guys are just running around naked, not doing any work. It's bullshit.
I placed down a tribe of fortuitous trees to satisfy Pumbaa, and as everyone was busy dancing, I went ahead with the construction alone.
Man, you're a bunch of poopers. Hee hee hee, I just pooped, ah ha ha.
The third epic chain broke, and by the beam to the sky, we opened our way into the Silk Cradle.
Mayhem Cannon, a vicious ranged weapon.
I loved the blunderbuss. It was incredibly powerful at nuking down targets, firing off 3 rounds lightning quick. Just don't get stuck at the reloading part.
Huh.
Pardon my jaw dropping in bedazzlement, but I had never seen a 4-eyed knitting caterpillar before. She insulted my fashion sense, and for that reason alone, gave me a tailor's building to give the cult a much-needed style boost. Shamura then fed me a tale of why they had to imprison the one who waits, whose apparent real name was Narinder, and followed that up with brainwashing poor Teddy. It was kill or be killed. Sorry, Teddy.
I'll resurrect you, Teddy. I'll resurrect you, don't you worry, I'll resurrect you at the temple.
I stood before the first mini-boss, whose name I can't pronounce without having to beep it. He slung his weapon launched into the air, but on descent, his abnormally large bottom often got stuck, giving me the perfect opening to strike. I finally made use of a relic, gained half a heart, and a little gunpowder worked wonders, blasting away both him and his spiderlets. That's the first out of 4 in Spiderhaven. On return, I preached so hard that I unlocked level 3 of Might of the Devout, giving me even more powerful weapons on crusades. Looking back, I feel like I should have unlocked this a long time ago. After all, I was already at the last main area of the game, and scrolling through my deceased followers, I got the sudden urge to resurrect Donkey.
No, Teddy the Bear, he was just level 2, but I promised him so. Yeah, suck out that death. He looked kind of bad though?
Teddy had a dash of existential angst, so I threw him in the medical bay and saw his mental wounds heal.
He's back!
I spent my first sin upgrading the temple, though I was sad to see it was purely decorative and didn't increase my godly powers in any way. It would require heaps of gold bars though, so I started the refinement process and welcomed Larry Bird and Newt Newt.
Newt Newt. Golden Pooper? Royal Pooper.
His charge will be divine. I'm looking forward to your poops, Newt Newt.
Oh, epic curse, consume 75% less fever. And we will drop more fever. I can just, oh, it's a fever fest.
This meant I could literally spam my special Icar attack, something that usually slipped my mind, just like the relics. And on top of that, I got the necromantic sword, with a chance of summoning a ghost pal to attack nearby enemies. I plowed through fields of foes, got an open invitation to check out Midas Cave, open 7 days a week, ditched this guy for his unaligned worldviews, and then fought Vefar, the embodiment of creepy. He crawled around spewing acid, and while I was distracted by vomiting projectiles, his henchman struck. I was lucky I had replaced my special attack for a ranged flaming shot. Otherwise, I'd surely be dead at this point.
Yes! Oh, that saved me. That curse really saved me. Oh, those extra hits. I could have just dished it out. Whew. Thank you. Oh, I saved my cult from such an embarrassment.
I got away with what looked to be my biggest haul yet, and what I thought would be a summon to my dark benefactor took an unusual turn.
Who's this?
An unknown entity, apparently impressed by my stature and incredibly soft coat. And he just wanted to say hi and told me to stay on the same track and we would meet again.
Everybody wants an audience with the Lamb of God. Can't blame him.
With that out of the way, I had enough divine inspiration to upgrade the cult to level 4, which is the max level. I unlocked an achievement for such an achievement. Someone had of course died. They usually do while I'm on crusade. So I buried Animal and welcomed back Foxy the Fox from a successful missionary trip. He was so exhausted from his journey that I sent him straight to bed. I cleaned so much poop that I got a maid's dress, refilled the poop box with the broom poop, and while taking a closer look at my followers' traits, I made a discovery.
I'm not sure how I haven't realized this before, but everybody I get from Helob, they only have bad traits.
That Helob is really selling me his unwanted leftovers.
You look disgusting. Kermit!
To cover the loss, I invited Marvin. Now, it is important to view your followers as an expendable resource. Still, I seem to be hitting a ceiling at 15. I sent out Foxy the Fox for another meat mission, built another crypt because everybody seems to be dying on me, and then made it to Midas Cave for quite a rude welcoming. Like the other regions, I could purchase more tarot cards and follower forms here, but I was also offered the chance to sacrifice a follower. Just because. And for a one-time fee of 10 gold bars, entrust my hard-earned wealth to the gods in hopes of a generous return. Never mind gold. It was time to head back out on crusade, and the final run before facing Shamura, who was yet again back with their gladiatorial approach of turning 2 of my followers against me.
No, not Teddy again! Not Teddy again! And Newt Newt! I have to kill 2 of my followers? My dear followers? My cult is in shambles. A lot of meat though. A lot of meat. And Cabbagey has died of old age as well? We're dropping like flies now.
This fellow Shroomy challenged me to a game of knucklebones, and then I banged my way to the Sanctum of Halas. I had saved my Exorcist Finger relic just for this fight. Using it summoned a little heart friend, who didn't seem to do anything, absolutely useless. Why are you even in the game? Despite all of that,
this guy's actually not a problem. That was surprisingly easy.
When I returned, it was already night, and Foxy had returned with the spoils from a successful protein hunt.
Allows followers to cook meals for their fellow cult members. Less work for me. Batman.
Batman was a hedonistic, unrepentant possum. He'll do well to generate a lot of sin. Day 58 began with golden poop sweepage, followed by refining additional gold bricks for the upcoming kitchen renovations. Hopefully, this is the last time I have to slave away behind the stove.
Okay, I think we're in a good place for another, and perhaps the final crusade. 5 becomes nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Stupid sexy Shamura. Oh my lord. That's a long way, Shamura. I might fall asleep before I even get there. Vampiric blunderbuss. Lock and load. He who cannot kill Shamura has forgotten the face of his lamb.
So I blasted my way forward, rescuing a badger, avoiding decapitation, and then knocked on Shamura's cradle.
He of havoc, he of blight, she of hunger, they of might. 5 becomes 4, becomes 3, becomes 2, becomes 1, becomes nothing.
Emphasis on nothing. Time to die.
And he's away. Oh!
Shamura, aka Paul, had the upper hand. After all, look at all those extra limbs. But I had the mighty blunderbuss, with ammunition to spare.
Heart of a heretic. Shkamashk, Shkabushk, Manushk, Babaganush, Bubabushk.
With that, I had defeated the entire band. And according to my dark benefactor, it was time to lay down my life in favor of his. After all this, it turns out he was no better than the old faith. I've been bamboozled. Who could have seen that coming?
Let's try and get my followers a little bit more stylish, shall we?
I swept so much poop that I lost track of time and had to wake everybody to perform a sermon. They weren't happy about it, but I couldn't stand to lose valuable devotion points. I had 0 incarceration at this point, so declaring the belief in absolution doctrine seemed like the way to go. Badger the Badger joined the cult, and while everyone worked on the kitchen renovations, I took the opportunity for an inspirational collective dance, then queued up all the hearty meat broth we could muster.
Pumbaa! Oh, Chef Pumbaa. Let him cook! Let him cook!
I gained another perk, the opportunity to sacrifice a follower in exchange for a second life if I shall fall on crusade. After that, it was time to face the one who waits.
Requires 20 followers? And I got 14 and I can't get past 15. I'm gonna have to resurrect Donkey. Gonna have to buy this guy.
But instead of Donkey, I resurrected Cabbage, and he was ravenous.
Cabbagey, what? Did you eat one? I just lost one.
If that wasn't enough, I didn't have enough mending flowers to stop Cabbagey from devouring the entire cult. Time was of the essence. In desperate need of followers, Larry Bird found 2 starving ones by the road, bringing us up to 17. Still a few short, I headed out for both healing flowers and additional impressionable followers.
Hey! Kermit!
Kermit felt betrayed by my manipulative ways and swore to bring justice and free the others.
Oh, you're huge.
Now I understood where the abundance of food had gone. Straight into this guy's hatch. He was a fierce warrior, not gonna lie, and rather gifted with a bow, but I got him down.
Damn you, Kermit, forcing my hand for this.
That would bring us back down to 16. Not a great start. Luckily, I found a rooster to take the treasonous frog's place. I built more farmland, enhanced the brainwashing ritual, and by absolving Janono's soul, turned his scarlet red eyes crystal clear. I also ran into Helob and bought another follower.
51% off for Noirna? It's a bargain!
I finished the crusade by killing Leshy and welcomed my new members. Then Uzi the Ooze selfishly died. I found cheaper rituals, which was great, saving a bit of resources. And by the next upgrade, I could combine it with reduced cooldowns. All in all, it would mean I could perform more rituals, which was very tasty. I slapped a few bats, rescued another follower, picked a lot of red flowers in this enriched flora room, and after beating Leshy again, popped Cabbage in the medical pod, rendering him yet again fit for service.
Welcome back, buddy.
I then indoctrinated Hannity, bringing us up to a glorious amount of 20 followers.
No! No! Let's do respect your elders trait, because that's just beautiful.
So I rushed through Darkwood again, rescued this idiot, gave him his goodie bag, and the perspiration running down my forehead was real.
I got 20 now. Got 20. It is time. Hurry before somebody dies. Brrr.
I found myself back in the correctional facility, but this time with a sweet spread of illicit weapons to choose from. I wasn't thrilled about the bulkier options before me, but the merciless hammer had a chance to deal a critical hit, and so once again I walked the path that could very well lead to my own execution. Not a flicker of shame passed through this feline's form as he dismissed me from his service and demanded I lay down my life for his, with a subtle, calculated threat hanging in the air.
He's got my followers! At least he doesn't have Donkey. He's already dead.
That, at least, was very good news. He couldn't have Donkey killed twice. I made my defiance clear by declining his request, and I would face Bale upon the clouds of the arena.
What did I critical hit him for half his HP? That's insane! That was insane!
I might have whiffed the next set of attacks, but he got downright smashed.
I will take care of this beast, master. I will cut that crown from his head.
Bring it, Aim!
Just like his brother, Aim shot spiky spikes up from the clouds and hurled rings of fireballs at me. But this drained his energy and left him exposed to my very real and very dangerous hammer.
I just critical hit him again for 75% of his HP. This is crazy.
Furious, Narinder broke free from his shackles. He would take me on himself. He incorporated a windmill spinning attack and a sea of spikes surging from below. But my resolve held firm, and my critical hits? Ridiculous. Naturally, that only pushed him further. He moved on to crucify my 12 disciples. It was all very symbolic.
Kerrigan! I'll save you!
A feline no more, or perhaps a deeply unsettling one. He popped out 3 of his biggest eyeballs, which I naturally whacked.
That's 1.
Blinded in one eye, he kicked off this sweet laser grid attack, almost like that hallway scene in the Resident Evil movie. Anyway, I dodged it, no problem. My followers, however, looked deeply concerned for my safety.
Whoop! Whoop! Whoop, 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 whoop. That's 2, baby!
With 1 eyeball left, he cranked up the fireballs to a whole new level.
Oh, Jeebus, Lambus, whatever prophet tickles your fancy.
I didn't think he had it in him, but he turned it up another notch, and I started getting worried. But with 2 ripping tentacle explosions and a hell of a blow to the cornea, he was vulnerable.
Oh, do no evil, defeat the one who waits! Rise, my followers! You were just a little follower yourself!
I had done it. I had supplanted the one who waits. Now came the judgment of the Lamb, and there was no forgiveness left in me.
Murder, of course.
No mercy for the wicked. It was quite a brutal scene, to be honest.
Hell yeah!
My beautiful followers swarmed around me and we joined each other in a divine embrace. I admired the creative developers for a moment, then remembered the journey was far from over. We were playing this to 100% and there were still a lot of things missing.
Arise, ye tarnished,
Not much had changed at the cult sanctum. The economy was getting better and better, and I continued to refine as much material as possible.
A lot of people are at the end of their expected life period, but now I don't need 20 followers anymore. And who am I sacrificing these to now? Myself?
Still works though. Shroomy got his tail end handed to him. Thus, I had defeated every single one of Ratau's friends in Knucklebones, earning me their last tarot card. And as I tickled Plimbo's temporary seafaring vessel, it spit out Kudai's fingernail. Magnificently gross. Having saved up the gold bars, I headed over to Midas Cave and paid the nominal fee to try out the wishing well.
Snarf, snarf, snarf.
It was a bit more expensive than I anticipated.
I didn't know I was gonna give you over 300 gold.
We're at the mercy of the gods now. Beelzebub was old and had served his purpose to the cult, so I sacrificed him to Midas. I got a red fragment in return, and should I continue helping him grow his collection, he apparently had plenty to spare.
You did it, didn't you? You tasted the power of the mushrooms. Yes, you are just like Zozo knows you're a friend. Here, you must take this, a sign of friendship between two lovers of the menticide mushroom. Keep it safe, you can trust no one. Keep it hidden. Keep it safe.
He also handed me a mushroom sculpture he demanded I build back at the cult. He's kind of forcing this whole fungi situation, I don't like it. Fighting in the bushes, I noticed a snail statue, where I made a snail's offering. I noticed there was a statue in each of the main regions, so I offered them a shell each and got a follower form that looked like a snail. Who could have guessed?
What on earth are those? More fleeces? There's so many fleeces!
I did the Ritual of Enlightenment to boost the accumulation of devotion and reduced ritual cooldowns by 50%. Having expanded and upgraded the farms previously, my followers did well at handling the entire process themselves now, including harvesting. I sent Cabbagey to collect whatever currency he could find, and to commemorate the emancipation of the one who waits, I erected a monument of this glorious conquest.
What happens now? Oh, what is this? Huh? Yeah, I'm as confused as you are.
Declared god of death, I was flattered, though he also called me an infant for leaving the job half done. Apparently, I had left the old bishops in limbo, unable to rest, unable to move on. So this entity tasked me with crusading once more to finish what I started. And he awakened their ancestral planes anew.
I need to do it once more? Hey, man, not cool. I thought I was done, man. Man, come on, man.
So I found myself back in the forest of Darkwood, with a familiar scent of plastic-coated paper in the air. Clawneck had my back as always, and I rescued a baby fox before being stared down by the witness Agadas. Floating and thrusting, he often left the dirty work to his lackeys, but I basically walked away without a scratch and with a sweet surprise.
Eye of the Witness! That's the Plimbo thing!
Pieces were falling right into my lap lately.
Midas, what are you doing? Grave robbing? Oh, hello there, valiant pint! Oh, Devious, what if... Oh, no! This transgression will not be forgotten.
Certainly not. I was already plotting my revenge. As was Barbados II, for what I did to his father. Manic from shooting up too much juice, he had tripled in size, and any minor inconvenience set off his foul mood and very pointed stakes. His sudden spike in difficulty made me question why I hadn't done a no-hit bishop run sooner. Surely a sign my life was about to turn into a chore. Still, I took him down and scored a god tier. I could turn this in over at the Divine Being for a wicked spin of the sanctified wheel of blessing. This time, I won a follower form. Oh, and I named my new omnipotent friend Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
Back at the cult, I found something disturbing.
Whoa! The turd of all turds! A monster turd! What?
Whoever took that huge dump, I want to shake your hand, salute you, and help you campaign for the next presidency. Absolute beast mode, that. Cabbagey had just made it back to camp after sustaining a fatal wound. He succumbed to his injuries right in front of me. He was so beloved that everyone came to pay tribute. What a legend. I queued up 5 magnificent meals to boost follower loyalty, and while inspiring Trunk, I noticed I had neglected Croco's decaying corpse. He died of old age while I was out crusading. He stunk. Already back on a crusade again with my thundering blunderbuss, I got interrupted by the very man I was hunting.
Oh, are you back again? Little lamb, I feel you there. Darkwood has not forgotten me yet. I can still find you in my woods.
And then face to deformed face with Amdusius. His hideousness was synonymous with his deadliness, and he looked to be sporting some nasty barnacles on his back there. I must have been distracted by his repulsiveness because I got sent straight to the void. But what is this? A second chance? Another dimension? A pagan ritual? I don't know what it is, but I got both a handful of tarot cards.
Thank you?
And a bunch of dark, ominous relics.
Thank you. I'm not sure what's going on right here, but yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. And I'm back. What have I done something that I've forgotten that I've done?
My second coming let me jump into bullet time and make an unlikely escape with my life intact. Hail Satan! This was surely his doing.
Carrigan, Pumbaa, what are you doing? Yeah, you're cool, but you should be a starfish. You look ridiculous. You look absolutely ridiculous.
I welcomed these two buffoons and looked over the ample set of buildings still left to unlock. I kicked things off with a confession booth, where I could boost a follower's loyalty once a day, and like always, cleaned a lot of poop.
Oh, the divine poop brew.
A marvel of turd-sweeping engineering. I unlocked 3 new curses I could make use of during Crusades, and implemented the Loyalty Enforcer Doctrine, where one follower could inspire loyalty in others. Naturally, I dumped the responsibility on Foxy's shoulder, the most experienced member in the cult. He'll be fine. After planning the location for self-incrimination, I ravaged Darkwood and paid tribute to the Golden Scale statue thing. It spat out an abundance of resources in return. Kimmak then offered me Galvar's charm, but I refused. It would definitely increase my size something fierce, but in my experience, that just makes one a bigger target, not necessarily a bigger threat. Valifar's leaps were still intense, but not as intense as his radically erratic fireballs, which he then focused into a laser beam of fire. Unfortunately, it was I who rolled myself into an early grave. This is where the Heart of Heretic came in handy, letting me siphon the life force from my newly indoctrinated starfish. He knew the risks. Classic last in, first out policy, sorry buddy. And his sacrifice spared me another embarrassment. Thank you, starfish.
Julon, no! Where you going? Julon, you... I didn't want you anyway.
Refinement for finer things was a priority, and I built a morgue that could house 3 bodies until they were ready for burial. Now, a dedicated mortician could collect the fallen while I'm off doing my murderous thing. I also set up a janitor station, meaning less poop on my hands and more janitorial responsibilities for my new starfish. More about him later. And while on the topic of turds, this would see me bump into a lesser version of Leshy, at least in appearance.
Leshy, you're missing a piece of your head there.
Somewhat disoriented, Leshy practically begged for the end, devouring his followers before turning into something you'd find marked down in the food aisle. He was pretty much still the same flavor of useless, but this time he'd rigged booby traps all over the floor. By tip-tapping my way around, I set him free, so to speak, but I also sentenced him to my holy labor camp. Biblical. Jeff knew this wasn't enough for me, that I craved and demanded more bloodshed, so he opened a pathway to purgatory, where I could slay monsters for as long as I liked or survived, all without any time passing on this plane of existence. Cheeky comment there, Jeff. I'll have to venture there later, as there's an achievement lurking behind a row of bosses. I reimagined Starfish, threw in a snail for good measure, and unlocked the leader tent, a snooze-worthy resting place for a weary ruler. Expressive dancing inspired the troops, and today's sermon let me unlock stronger weapons on Crusades, but not as strong as Yonona's forbidden love for Hauras, who clearly didn't pick up on the hint of the gifted flowers. Stop leading them on, Hauras, shame on you. So Yonona asked me to help wow them with a delicious vegetable feast. I obliged, because I'm such a big proponent of love in the cult. And through the ram, the lamb, and the holy hoof, I took Fox's confession. His past transgressions were now forgiven. The confession was really powerful too, beaming him all the way up to level 8. Then it was finally time to pull the lamb by the wool and indoctrinate the old bishop, Leshy. He damned me, of course, but his arrival was perfect. I'd been waiting for a suitable mortician for some time now. He also asked me to fetch one of his eyes from Darkwood, having previously lost it to Narinder's fury.
Sacrifice a level 4 follower to open. Can't be resurrected. No. Level 7 follower. Level 10?
A level of sacrificial commitment I was not yet ready for. Also, I might have slightly neglected my followers' training. I mean, I put Fox in charge, for goodness sake. So instead, I went in for a taste of something bigger. Purgatory. You could choose between boss runs or dungeon crawls, with each victory ramping up the difficulty until you hit the ceiling. It was all tied to the power of the fleeces. For my first one, I tore through a well-worn dark forest and suddenly found myself in Anura, collecting French delicacies. But this time, resources weren't stockpiled. They were swapped for a chest containing god-tier fragments. I stormed through the ranks and once familiar battlegrounds until I found myself eye to eye with Witness Alosar. He had the annoying habit of bailing mid-flight and spawning his alleged children. Or somebody's children, at least.
Since when did scorpions and spiders become friends, allies? They've always been sworn enemies. This is known. This is known.
Using children as a shield has never stopped me. Period. The reward for completing a run was a full god tier, and with enough fragments, it sanctifies into yet another. I was after all the red fragments I could acquire to get my hands on the overwhelming amount of fleas still left to claim, and Jeff provided. But he also threw me a curveball now and then.
Boo. Boo. Actually, he's a shrimp. That's actually kind of nice. Okay, I'll accept.
My gut told me that trunk would be the right choice to sacrifice to open up a Nura. Turns out my gut was absolutely right. Taking his confession and nudging him over to the required level of 4 had me realize he'd been bad-mouthing me to the entire colony. What a Now, I take the seal of confession very seriously, but that doesn't mean words can't hurt. He'll pay the price for his insolence. The smell of feces supposedly enhanced Snailey's poetry writing, at least according to himself. I thought it was complete crap, to be honest. Meanwhile, I upgraded 3 level 2 refineries and maxed out my lumber yards. I'd officially built a full-blown resource factory, and my work in the shadows had not gone unnoticed, and Yonona approached me with a wild request. He wanted me to marry Hauras in his place. I refused.
Shame on you for trying to push the shackles of marriage upon me. Shame on you. Follower cannot be resurrected. No, but we can create a new follower in his image.
A better one, a more obedient one. The gaping maw of a Nura opened, having me fling the axe of fury once more, and I found a fella cocoon in an alien reference.
Kill me.
And somewhere along the way, I again realized that some curses actually let you enter bullet time before firing. It was so awesome I had to finish off another witness with it. But Eligos II wasn't such a pushover, and his red swarm of flies were immune to my heavy attack. I died and had to sacrifice another follower, all in vain. And still riding high on hubris, I siphoned Granny Spike's single heart and died yet again. It's all good though, as I managed to save 2 followers. We're at a net positive.
I wrote a poem and I had to share. Follower Graber likes to eat fruit. Yonono prefers to eat poop. I don't think you can, Snailey. That was spot on. Awesome. Good job.
Snailey's poem fired me right up for today's sermon. And while better starting weapons tempted me, I had my sights set on mastering the blunderbuss, boosting both its range and damage output. It would be in my best interest to kick off crusades with a rifle in hand to make it truly viable. These 2 handsome fellas pushed my follower count to 21, and unlocking the raunchy mating tent would spawn a new era of follower indoctrination, in the form of brooding. It gave me access to the hatchery too. But such violent, sinful acts were best kept far from our sacred temple, so I tucked the tent in a corner with the hatchery right beside it. At the same time, I figured it'd be criminal not to give my devoted followers a day off after nearly 80 days. Time for leisure was promised, and faith shot right back up to 100. Turns out free time and belief go hand in hand. But my good nature got me in trouble. While they were out drinking Mai Tais and having a blast, I had to finish construction myself. Rookie mistake.
You do fornicate during your day off, right?
Before such heinous acts, I declared sinner's pride. Leshy would absorb the sin of others. Too bad my goody-goody followers had barely misbehaved. The sin meter barely moved, but one naked lap around the maypole had him spit out a slithering sin. Very corrupt, very tainted, very nice.
Thank you all for this sinful ceremony.
I rushed through Darkwood locating one of Leshy's lost eyeballs. It was quite big. Leshy was just thrilled to see its presence, and he asked me to hang on for it for a while. My precious starfish was back from another meaty adventure, and it was time to face the golden judgment. The gods saw fit to bestow upon me a whopping 526 coins. Holy moly. I also considered sacrificing a follower, but then remembered Helob's damaged goods. But the sneaky bug had raised his prices. 100 coins for a single sacrificial follower is just bad business. That's ludicrous, that is. Since sin was such a rare commodity, and one I'd soon need in abundance, I figured a most evil and devilish drum circle might come in handy. And to fuel their rhythmic rituals, I whipped up a feast of magnificent mixed meals. This did well to increase follower loyalty and meet the sacrificial requirement for the remaining doors. What I didn't know is that I need to convert 10 followers to disciples as well. A ritual I could first perform with a level 10 follower. For the cult's first egg ceremony, I paired Croc and Fiarta, paying no mind to their low compatibility rating. I wanted that long snout purple-green mashup badly. The cult would do well with some color. Surprisingly, they hit it off, and from the mingling of their DNA, I would unleash upon the cult the most sinful beast destined to smash through the follower ranks like no other. Of course, the egg needed some egg love, and after tending the egg, I was out to exact my vengeance upon Anura, where Gushan took Eligos' place. He was a bit hysterical, bobbing up and down like a lunatic, and ironically, he had his own egg factory. That's my monopoly you're intruding on there, buddy.
Oh, what a dodge, man. What a dodge man I am.
More food made its way onto the table, courtesy of Hanity's meat, and I completed the Tree of Sin by constructing a delightfully intoxicating drink house.
I'll place it over here in Sin City.
As expected, poop juice was the most befuddling and sinful of beverages, but it had its drawbacks. What went in had to come out. 3 juniper drinks would open the bar, and Starfish provided. He obviously had a background in bartending for the old bishops. Starfish, obviously first on the scene, tasted his delicious brew, and it turns out he's a bit of a douche.
Yeah, Croc, I think you have control of the situation. I'm gonna go full-on crusade mode now. I'm gonna crusade way hard. So hard. No one is gonna be able to crusade as hard as I'm gonna crusade right now.
This gut-wrenching room of half-digested meat concealed an envelope, revealing a trove of hidden lore waiting to be unlocked. Right after, I rescued a giraffe with a notably short neck and trotted onward to challenge Sapphire. Similar, but kind of small in stature compared to Hecate. Other than that, the only thing missing was a big slithering tongue trying to violently lick me. My sword felt kind of dull. It did next to no damage. It became a never-ending dogfight, but I ultimately came out on top. Then I was straight in for the next run. No sermon, no respite, thundering blunderbuss in hand.
It's just an overall awesome weapon.
It really is something. I like it a lot. Meanwhile, trouble was brewing over at Spore Grotto. Sosa's mushroom addiction had finally caught up with him. He confessed he'd lost everything, all while nibbling on yet another mushroom, desperate for another fix. In his current state, there was nothing we could do. Instead, I redirected my efforts to something we could influence, like Eligos breathing, which I swiftly ended with a few well-placed bullets straight to his chest. After the mandatory and rather sinful celebrations, Leshy came to me with another request, to return to his temple in Darkwood. Of course, I obliged. He had been doing an excellent job managing the dead while I waged my holy war. I even had to upgrade the crypts to level 2 just to house the growing pile of corpses he had to handle. And Jonono asked me to open up my heart for 2 disease-ridden followers. I did more than that. Straight into the medical bay they went, fully cured and chipper. And then, to sweeten the harvest, I equipped all my farmers with nature necklaces to speed up agricultural growth. Leshy received a sneaky gift too, increasing his lifespan. I can't lose such a splendid mortician now, can I?
I like your noggin. I'm gonna grant you the gift of unnaturally long life as well. I give the gift of Arendil. You're horny. I'll give you a skull necklace.
I rang the bell of beverage, and before the window could close on me, sacrificed Foxy the Fox to open the silk cradle once more. He was old, prime, sacrificial material. I couldn't let that go to waste.
Here's to Foxy.
Armed with a snappy gauntlet, I foolishly swapped it out for a clunky necromantic hammer. Big mistake. It made everything worse and left me exposed to Hecate's swarming tadpoles.
He's more bloodthirsty than ever! He jumpeth high
and licketh with great thrust. The preceding bedlam of tongue-flinging and fire-spewing tadpoles was way too quick for my fatigued hooves.
Duck, 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 goose!
Reanimated again, enemies filled the room. Tiny Gushans, baby Sapphires. Luckily, with my curse-boosting tarot card and fervor saved for a rainy day, my divine blast made for a perfect dismantlement. Han Solo? That is 2 bishops liberated from limbo, and I left with 3 hefty god tiers in my pocket. Back home, Snaily had grown so pretentious he liked the taste of his own mucus. I went on a trip of inspiration and confession of the soul, followed by funding Sosa's ridiculous statue he so stubbornly demanded to be built in my cult. The balls on that shrew. I invested heavily in innovation and improved technologies in all areas of the cult. Food production was alleviated with a 4th farm, Blessed Day 85 sermon granted the highest level of weapons out on crusades, and through doctrinal extremism, I could now generate sin via the confession booth. Sinful behavior, really. Which reminded me, Pumbaa was finally ripe for sacrifice to grant me entry into Anchordeep, where creepy crawlers crawl and flying bumholes fly. A detour robbed me of my resources, though.
Hey! I don't like it.
Emphatically unfair. Then Midas showed up to kick me while I was already down.
Oh no! How though? How? I couldn't hit him.
Revenge will be all the sweeter. While boogieing along, I popped the witness Astaroth. Not before dying and sacrificing another follower though. Sorry, Sparkles. But this hard-fought success was not the Crusade's end. Luckily I had the vampiric sword with a chance to heal when killing an enemy. This completely saved me, as I could abusively kill his minions, going from 2 hearts to half a heart back up to 2. Victory clenched.
The average age of my cult seems to be way too high. There's always 3 or 4, or at least 2. There's 1 to 2 people always dying during my crusades of old age. It's insane.
3 followers, 3 died of old age during that last crusade. The turnover is crazy, but I welcomed 3 new ones, all gifted with moon necklaces. Christ.
No, let's go sin. Because I think I need more sin than loyalty. Unlock all doctrines. Gospel.
Born of sin, Croco was immediately baptized.
He's got diapers. And he's crawling. Oh yeah, I need a nursery.
I found a really suitable location for it, right next to the demonic circle, and I chucked Croco in the pen. It's important to instill the teachings of Ganush from an early age, and nurturing was absurdly powerful. Each pat on the head boosted the followers level by 1, and you can do it once per day. I did some chores, accepted Hecate's weird throat-related request, and unobjectively pulverized my way through Anchordeep.
Plimbo!
Shbaboo!
Shbagim! Shbabaloo! Plimbo! The booty. Oh! Oh, the booty.
There wasn't much to that conversation, and equally little with the inflatable airbag Balsabob. The mountain of poop back home weighed heavy, and there would be more, as these two noodles made another egg. Great place to raise a kid, by the way, with the bar fights and projectile vomit.
What's this song? How it goes? You fail faithful.
God tier weapons will now show up on Crusades. Rare, but powerful.
Unlock all weapons. Weapons of plenty. Plenty of weapon.
Calamar tried to discourage my crusading ways, throwing everything he had at me, including Spiky Celios. He gave me a bit of trouble, literally killing me, in turn killing Hannity, but I got him down nonetheless.
Basic decorations. My cult is almost 100 days old, and I don't even have basic decorations.
We danced around the maypole for a bit, and I sucked out all the sin juice I could until Jonna was so consumed that he vowed to damn me in the next life. Jeez, calm down. Waking everyone up for the ceremony had my faith tanked, but I was uplifted to find that all my rituals of enrichment had paid dividends.
800 gold! Oh yeah.
Little Croco already gave me trouble, refusing to stay in his pen, as he supposedly was already too big, wise, and adulty.
Yeah, you're almost a grown-up, but you're still pooping on the floor.
I took Fiarta to the confession booth and racked up some sin, but I had to nudge him over the edge with a brog brew. He spat out a drop of sin and also delivered a fancy robe in return. We danced around for a while to the tunes of rhythm, and over at Spore Grotto, Sosa was happily paranoid about the erected statue.
Shlu, you did it!
He gave me another red fragment, pledged himself to me, cursed the liars outside, and asked for yet more mushrooms.
I've been giving you mushrooms for the entirety of this run.
It never stops. I still had gold to burn, so I raided the tarot card shelves from said liars, and then had an ominous meeting with the Red Fox.
Ah. Little lamb, we meet again, a beautiful night, is it not? Does your cult flourish? Are they devoted? Are they strong? Well, you know what they say. The best thing a follower can do is follow.
Another deal was on the table. This time it was Fiarta's turn to pay the price of old age. That is 2.5 medallions currently in my possession. I continued raiding the other areas for all items on display and gifted Plimbo his precious eyeballs, bringing the total medallions to 3.25.
Catch critter. I got a little crab. That was fun.
In what I wanted to be my final dive into Anchor Deep, Jonono came to collect. Not himself, I had to bash him a multiple set of times until my hammer of absolution finally whacked the sin out of him and got him back in line. No one, I repeat, no one leaves the cult without my permission to do so, and then, most likely, in a sacrificial manner and or body bag. Monk boosted follower Tina's loyalty for free. I then found a secret message while exhuming bodies and ran into fish lips again, almost incriminating himself.
It's me fish lips, man lips. I meant man lips.
What's his angle? Who's the mark? I have so many questions. Calamar's rotten flesh had me stunned, and he threw an insane amount of fireballs and crustaceans my way. Too many for me to handle, and I died. Tina's life was now my life, and I had a second chance at this aquatic god.
Oh, for
With that failure, my faith was tainted, and ravenous bellies growled all over the place, something I had to take care of before heading out again. And my frustrations really shone through my cooking. Then I got stuck with another bulky hammer. The crusading gods were really stacked against me. I almost thought I died again, but with a sweet dodge move, I managed to get him down with half a heart to spare. He'd make a great addition to my collection of bishops.
What is that? It's hideous! It's an abomination! Put no weight on your name, abomination. You're lovely. There you go.
The vacated spot was filled by these two lovebirds, and with peer pressure racking up, someone was bound to throw a hissy fit if I didn't soon find a suitable mate. So I strategically married ragged old Snaily. Then it was off for another crusade, where I got my first godly sword. It was a blast and a good one too, as I had to battle both Hauras and Witness Alisir before taking a whack at the one who should not be named. To be honest, he wasn't even name-worthy, because I owned him, if you remove the fact that I almost died. I got a sweet trash panda for my efforts.
Haven't you died yet, Snaily? I mean, give up already.
I wasn't too keen to see my wife Snaily alive, not just because my wife is an actual snail, but mainly because I was forced into a marriage to withhold our faith levels.
You're gonna do another one? Why wouldn't I do another one? Just invite more people to sin. I mean, mate. Yeah, sin.
With sin on my corroded mind, I laid its roots upon Bunny and then did some chores.
Abomination is floating around in a tepid pool of his own filth.
And prescribed some more lovemaking.
Oh, it's gonna be a purple explosion.
Another egg for the colony. A colony that, according to some, was severely underdressed. I threw together some ragged robes and a peasant blouse to dress my starfish and Leshy. It reminded me of the fishing mechanic in Dredge. I then accepted Astaroth's request to take on a new dissenting follower, something I hadn't done since Donkey and Kermit. But I had a few more tools to play with this time around. Re-education did little, and the confession booth saw his behavior continue, but I had the magnificent mixed meals and just enough ingredients to prepare him a bowl. As soon as that delicious dish landed on his taste buds, he was dissenting no more. I ordered another round on me and got a snooty drink tender vest for it. Then, once more, I found myself in the silk cradle. I got the blazing trail chart card, where I could inflict damage by rolling over enemies.
Killed by death rolling. That's badass.
Equally badass was the secret room I uncovered. Either by accident or the game told me to look out for these statues. Either way, I should have burned the event into my cornea. It would have made this run a lot faster.
It's a gateway.
I pulled out my own heart and threw it into the maw of this amalgamation of sorts. It did not look pleasant. Anywho, that's 1 out of 10 ancient tablets uncovered. I fought my way through until I was mouth to mouth with Hauras. The butt scorpion got poisoned by my hammer's blow, and from there on, I controlled the entire fight, and didn't at all almost die again. While Sin slowly consumed Leshy, Bunny came floating by as well. He was so weak-minded that his sinful ways damned him until I could only redeem him on a crusade. I popped some poop in the bin, buried my now dead wife, sinfully danced to accumulate sin, and placed down a suitable tent for a leader. Then I was off to pillage and burn. Not before tending bar though. I always stock up on rich refreshments to celebrate a hard-earned victory, or well, to drown one's sorrow. The latter being the more likely as of late.
Oh yes. It's gonna be a good crusade.
But not for Bunny, who accused me of causing this predicament.
You did that to yourself. I didn't force that poop juice down your throat.
I just provided the option. Anyway, he was a tough nut to crack, followed by an even tougher nut, Vefar. All that nut cracking gave me 16 beetroot seeds to bring home to the cult, where lumberyards and stone mines were now depleted, but I had plenty of spare resources to refine for upcoming expenditures. I'd actually amassed quite a bit of resources at this point, especially golden bricks. With a clean slate, I tried to reorganize, but trying to cram everything I could into this small labor camp was harder than it looked. It is what it is. Abomination was then ready to shed his diaper and join our community as a contributing follower. He earned that cult attire. Welcome to the big leagues, fella. I tended the egg, inspired workers, added beetroot seeds to the seed rotation, and headed out for a massive crusade. This time with my first godly hammer, and I happened to run into a most deceptive familiar figure.
Oh, now I'll just take care of some business. Oh, I can't hit him. Oh, there we go. Eek, ouchie.
I'm not proud of it, but I punished him, excessively. Actually, I am a little proud of it.
You're not so beautiful now. You look like a sack of potatoes. Yeah. Fuck you.
I took that energy to the prime spider Shamura, who indecently exposed herself, hanging intestines. The godly hammer did do a lot of damage, but I had the same complaints as before. It's just way too slow for some of these fights.
Ah. Okay, who's gonna die? Who's the one? Okay, I'll sacrifice you, Bunny, because I want this kill. And then I promise I'll resurrect you. I promise. Promise.
Bunny's lifeblood was enough to see me through to victorious ways. Klonik held a press conference of my conquest, and with Shamura saved, that would make 4 bishops liberated.
Hey, man.
Except Shamura didn't blindly accept their new faith, so I had to stuff their face with a dissent-suppressing meal. They soon bowed to my will and accepted their newfound faith. Tending and nurturing our eggs, they both hatched, making Hoofy and Chocolate Starfish play buddies. Shamura fit right in after a couple, and as promised, I resurrected Bunny. Surprisingly well off. I didn't need to heal him from any zombie afflictions, so I went ahead and acquired more relics on crusades, and then spoke with Jeff. Pleased with my bishop liberating but then enslaving again exploits, he supposedly gave me a gift.
'Tis yours, confer as you see fit. Are you gonna give me Donkey? Is it the resurrection? The redemption of Donkey? The one who waits? I murdered him! Don't bring him back!
Tis gave me a sinister thought.
Oh, I'm gonna play with you.
Much left to discover, Jeff insisted I'd not get complacent while handing me the fleece of death, rendering me now the true god of death. It was fabulous.
Once again, I have beaten the game.
And once again, I couldn't relax, as there was more to unlock.
So it's so happy. So never had so many mushrooms before.
He accused me of enabling his addiction. To be fair, he's not wrong. And he was about to go on the greatest psychedelic journey he'd ever been on. Grab onto the ledge, buddy. You're going spinning. The red fox appeared again, asking for 2 new followers.
2 followers this time? 2? Yeah, 2 pathetic ones. 2 pathetic ones. I'll grant you 2 pathetic ones. Do you do children?
High and mighty all of a sudden, Mr. Moral Compass over here declined my proposal of 2 infants, which was bad news for Crazy Eyes and Alistair. Pragmatically, I gained the last fragment, completing my now 4th talisman. It felt right spending a divine inspiration point for bone decorations after such a heinous exchange.
I wanted to say that I love you, leader. What a suck-up.
With enough sin accumulated, I could now realize my master blunderbuss plan from what seemed like 100 days ago.
But I am to unlock the fleece, cowboy. Yee-haw! Always down with the blunderbuss. Yee-haw!
But there was more.
No hit, no resurrections. Deal 10 times more damage. Fleece of the Berserker. I mean, I should use that when I go for the no-hit runs. Might as well unlock it.
Afraid I had missed the train when supplanting the one who waits earlier, increasing the bishop's difficulty. This might have just brought us back into the game. Speaking of which, I welcomed Little Bitch to the cult and gave him the humiliating job of cleaning up our collective stool. Feels good, man. I was also way back on my sacrificial quota, so old man Mirandule got sent to the abattoir. This gave me heaps of points to spend on a bunch of new relics, which was good. But believe it or not, my faith tumbled down to sacrilegious levels, so I gave them a day off to forget he ever existed. They slept like babies after that.
1 hit, no resurrections.
As Leshy had been haphazardly taken care of way before, I was now on the no-hit hunt for Hecate. A nice surprise was that even with the Berserker Fleece, I was gifted the blasting blunderbuss. It was on. Fittingly enough, I found Hecate's throat, increasing attack damage for 10 seconds. An unfair advantage had I remembered to use it. Didn't really matter though, because the results? Carnage incarnate. Calamar sniffed out that Anchor Deep was up next, and just like Hecate, he had lost a body part to Narinder's fury, namely his left ear. This time, I got the hammer and died, so I went in again with another hammer and died yet again. Are we beginning to see a pattern here? I did a little better with the incredibly swift, merciless axe in comparison. Those 0.25% of attack speed make a world of difference apparently. I picked up Calamar's left ear, and upon facing the foul-faced god, I had acquired a few extra hearts. But this was a no-hit run, and it didn't save me from the inevitable.
Oh yeah, that's the run.
I finished him off nonetheless.
At least it's a successful crusade.
A short break in between my failures, Hecate wanted to see his temple again and demanded that I take him there. I cleaned the pen full of poop, pet my adorable chocolate starfish, and having put Leshy through the sinful ringer one too many times, he condemned me, plotting his revenge.
No, Leshy, come on, I still need you.
I then headed back out for a few attempts at dodging Calamar's rapid fireballs.
Come on, man. Oh, come on!
Unsuccessful, the cult's faith kept dropping.
You probably think you're weak.
You're weak.
I didn't think much of the supplied dagger this run. It does attack fast, but the low damage leaves you swinging in very dangerous proximity, leaving you exposed. Anyway, I found the blessed Aethel's powder box, acting as a random relic upon use. And oh, was it a blessing.
What? Did I just use a random relic? Just came in clutch. I halved his HP. Oh, that was easy. I almost feel bad.
Before heading for our final one-hit wonder, I collected Shamura's relic quest, stuck the poop box, and showed Calamar his ear. A good-looking ear, I must admit. Not as menacing as Shamura's misplaced skull, though.
New relic unlocked. Gain 8 seconds of invincibility. Yeah, buddy. Does that mean I can use it right now? Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
I popped the hood of this relic at the sound of the bell. Trepidation slowly crept in as the relic's power wore off, but my resolve was strong.
Yes. 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 The gods are with me. I am god of death. I thought those achievements were gonna be the hardest ones. Those were the easiest ones. Oh, Bunny. You're all sinned up.
Little Bitch also floated around with sin up his wazoo, probably from guzzling down all that sin juice I so generously handed out at every opportunity. And it was good I did, as every tier upgrade for the temple significantly increased the cost. The vibe in the temple became quite ominous. My kind-hearted soul thought it best to check out how Sosa's little trip had played out. Not very well by the looks of it, as he was all fungi at this point. I stole his hat, turning out to be a Sosa seed, and I found the perfect spot for it back at the cult. Hoofy, all grown up, earned his wings, leaving poor chocolate starfish behind the curve. And during nightfall of day 107, I caught a spider critter.
What do I do with this one? Just found a skull. A spider skull.
Another well-worded sermon earned me my final curses, and as Leshy ran away from home, I converted Hecate into a demon for our picnic to Anura. On our way, we saved a frog from the usual xenomorphic rituals and tested Kimak's patience. I thought perhaps a hidden achievement or relic would make itself known. It didn't, and Hecate insisted we'd walk the entire way to appreciate the full Anura experience. While at the temple, he wanted to hold his relic and power one last time. He then gave me some sob story that nothing in this world is fair, but ultimately relinquished his claim to Anura, cleansed his relic, and in the end confessed himself as a bishop for Lamb of God. But a steady decline left me uneasy, with a measly 14 followers remaining in the cult and a heap left to sacrifice for our end goal. But Helob supplies. It was straight to the abyss for poor Huaru. There had been a lot of bad behavior while I'd been away. People were just floating around high on sin willy-nilly, but I wasn't mad. I condoned it, really.
You guys. You're crazy.
I accidentally caught a firefly, giving me a firefly in return, and then went on a Leshy retrieval mission. I was afraid I'd lose him without first finishing his questline and thus soft-locked my progress. Fortunately, my hammering reason helped him see the light, and he forgave my past transgression.
Deadly dish. A truly vile concoction. 75% chance of a follower dying instantly. Newt! No! Did you eat the deadly dish? God. And that wasn't even an achievement.
You may be wondering why I even cooked the meal in the first place. Well, it just so happens I cooked the wrong dish. I needed to feed a follower meat, which another dish also included without the adverse side effect of death. So I looked into resurrecting Newt.
Oh yeah, that's my old wife, Snaily. Don't want to bring her back.
Instead, my heart pulled me towards a trickster, a bad boy, a troublemaker. Donkey, what am I doing? I hated that guy.
How's it going with Sosa, by the way? Pick mysterious mushroom. Soso! You're back? Soso has just craziest dream. Soso dreamt Soso has too many mushrooms and was happier than Soso has ever been before.
He yet again craved mushrooms, and yet again I caved. I'm beginning to believe that I'm not such a good person after all. Thinking Soso was mine to level up in order to help him achieve greatness, I pet him, bribed him, inspired him, and took his rather disturbing confession, none of which revealed any larger goal or success. I bought yet another sacrifice, and traded Jeff here a whole heap of god tears. I'd been silently doing a few purgatory runs in the background. And Jeff was less impressed with my feeble attempts at checking out his home dimension. What's he hiding back there? With one divine inspiration and one line of upgrades left, and to be honest, plenty left to actually build, I chose the Devotion Harvest Totem, followed by unlocking my next weapon mastery. I had enough sin for 2 mega temple upgrades and redecorated for a more me kind of vibe.
Ah, this is more like it. Feels like home.
Soso finally divulged what he was after. To save the helpless Mushromo followers trapped in Anura. Finally, we had a heading. And double the success because I just found Clonek's long-lost shoe as well. What a beaut! It was day 112 when I converted Calamar to a demon and quickly brought him to his temple. But upon return, I was met with another setback.
Hey, Leshy! Where you going? Why are you so pissed off? What happened? They took 78 gold? It's incredibly uncool.
I cracked another hideous creature. There was a lot of pent-up emotion between Shamura and Little Bitch. A lot of vomit and even more emotions. What a roller coaster.
Whee!
Another successful sacrifice. This time, Meerkat had pulled the shortest straw. I battled my way forward in Anura and found one of Sosa's old followers. You know, the ones he thought would rise up against him. Which meant I now had 2 fungi men running amok in the cult.
You'll take it from here? What do you mean you'll take it from here?
He meant he would devour this very tasty mushroom. What a manipulative shrew.
They deserve to be eaten. I hate mushroom. Okay.
I brought Newt Jr. back from the dead. And I must say, it felt kind of bad throwing him in the furnace just after having him resurrected. He wasn't alone though. Parbre and Fietre was also auctioned off for the last fragments Midas had to offer. I bought a few more cards, spoke with Plimbo, who angrily cursed the return of more witnesses, and I got an explanation as to why Sosa did what he did. Yeah, they just had to go. Shamefully, I agreed to find him another one. I'm not setting a very good example for the kids. Then me and Shamura went on a journey, picked up a letter of lore, and helped them strip off the old dominion and become one with the land. I also threw hooves with another witness in favor of one of Plimbo's highly sought-after eyes. Having defeated the bishop of this area, I was now promised even greater rewards moving forward in an endless dungeon crawl. It was cool and all, but I was on a search and rescue mission for another Mushromo. Predictably, he was consumed within seconds of landing back home. I suppose I shouldn't have been surprised by Sosa's audacity demanding yet another Mushromo to feast upon. I refused, of course, and he immediately cursed me out, slipping into a full-blown descent. So, as judge, ruler, and executioner, me and the boys whipped up a correctional facility and threw him in lockup. Then, through the sacred text of the Lamb and a solid day of mushroom withdrawal, he was reborn. No longer So-So, but Dr. Sasonius. His research had led him to Spore Grotto, where the Mushromas force-fed him menticide mushrooms, dragging him into psychedelic depths and paranoia. Now free, he rewarded me with a Mushroma form. Very nice. Sin being the commodity of need, Hoofy would take on the accumulated sin of others. Unfortunately, it damned him in the process. I got 2 more through a confession and a heretic drum circle. Then I resurrected Leshy and quickly threw him in the demon mixer so we could finally sever the bond to his old power, cleaning his eye in the process. Walk with me, talk with me. Narinder, now a little bitch, took me for a reminiscent stroll. A bit vague and perhaps through a maze of platitudes. I think he complimented me and gifted his claw. I then jumped into Purgatory to complete a full row, only to realize I'd misunderstood everything. This is obviously a column, not a row. Rows are completed by using the same fleece for multiple runs, with each step ramping up the difficulty. All these runs offered a lot of god tiers to trade with Jeff though. I mixed this with my usual dungeon crawls, all while trading my precious refined gold bars for a wardrobe's worth of outfits from the marvelous Miss Barrett, and carving out eyes in exchange for Plimbo's fragment pieces.
Babu! Boo! 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 What a champion, what a guy. I'm a worm.
I unlocked what I thought was the last of the remaining buildings.
Oh! I missed one! Empowered Shrine of Disciples. Disciples pray at this shrine to give you boosts while crusading. Wait, what have I missed? Hey, I gotta build that. I gotta build that.
Through a trial of faith, Abomination gladly laid down his life in service to the Lamb, becoming my first disciple. He immediately thought himself better than everyone else and demanded a better outfit. I mean, he had a point. Can't have my disciples running around in the standard cult attire. So I sewed him up a genteel jacket, very dashing. I realized I had avoided Helob on Crusade for too long.
100% off by Fino. Thanks, bro. Is he in bad shape? Is he not munchy? Is he ugly?
With enough business concluded between us, I got a tarot card. Not many left now.
My #1 customer back again. For you. Aye.
As only level 10 followers could become disciples, and I needed 10 of them, I looked through my catalog of dead acolytes. But I had been rather lazy in the past. Best I could find was a level 7 Croco. So, to future-proof, I assigned a new loyalty enforcer. After all, I had lost Foxy the Fox to a rightful and very needed sacrifice in the past. A last and final meeting with El Diablo in disguise had him ask for the ultimate offering. Without it, I would not be able to finish the run. I had to give up Ratau, my trusty advisor and old mentor. Whatever. I outgrew his guidance back at day 5. Anyway, it had to be done. No going back now.
Na.
I declared a forgotten doctrine to unlock the ritualistic fighting pit. It will make sense in a moment. And I pitted June against the superior Notre. Only one would walk away alive. But faced with the choice, I spared him. Divine Inspiration was now replaced by God Tiers, as I had no more use for inspirational unlocks, and I continued my inspirational dancing to level up followers for disciple conversions. The penultimate temple upgrade left me 15 sins short of finalizing the renovations, and what in my mind should have given me heaps of the stuff, harvesting the organs of my fallen followers, offered nothing except for a relic. By the way, I didn't realize Hecate had died of disease. What a forgettable goof. But fear not. The baby assembly line was in full force, so far the easiest and fastest way of nurturing a follower to level 10. I then threw more god tiers at Jeff, unlocking the last 2 tarot cards and a dark necklace. Its text encouraged a sneaky sacrifice. I gave the necklace to Huan, and I had received the opposite light necklace from Jeff before, which I gifted Habre. I call it a gift, but it came with a sacrifice. Come on, I needed to know what the obscure product tag actually meant. Erupting through the floor came Baal, brought back from the plains of the dead, and he was also my 10th sacrifice. This would obviously bring back Aim when sacrifice Huan, though that was on cooldown, so I headed out to search for missing lore. It wasn't a guaranteed spawn, but the easiest method was scanning the fog of war for a statue near the edge of the map, since the other one was often camouflaged by the environment or hidden behind grass. I found a piece of lore and dove into the final challenge in Purgatory's Row. It looked rather daunting with 5 major bosses in my way, but I fought hard, I fought just. There was also a great number of hearts to pick up on the way, so when facing the one who waits again, I had increased my 4 hearts to 7. It wasn't really a contest while I had the blunderbuss in my hands. It's like an extension of my arm at this point.
Is this gonna be another Slayer of Souls complete a row in Purgatory? Bow, bow. This kind of shit that you just wouldn't understand.
Once I got back, 3 eggs were ready to hatch, which I set on the path of disciples. And to replace my now hatched eggs, Chocolate Starfish gave Donkey a real runaround. He had that "whatever have I done" look written all over his face. But I got my eggs and served up 12 bowls of poop. Not for the joy of watching someone eat poop, but to get the elusive follower form, also made out of poop. And for another 2 wardrobe outfits, I had to marry Sasonius. Yeah, there's a lot of nonsensical events right now. I had an agreement with my new wife. I'd take his hand but skip the wedding reception. It had to be bumped in favor of bringing back Im through a glorious sacrificial resurrection. I then brought both felines on my next crusade. We happened to find another ancient tablet, but my main objective was to find Fornius, because a mother's love is a mother's love. It was all very wholesome. Grrr, grrr. And very unlucky. That was the last relic. Now I had a bunch of tablets left to find. Back home again, one of my single-purpose breeds was all grown up. And with a gift, he was ready to give his life to the discipleship. He didn't really have a choice though. I upgraded the temple to level 10. It now resembled Midas Cave more than anything else, with a sweet golden skull with horns decorating the entrance.
Yes, yes. I think this is the last one. This might be the last one. The pain, the journey.
I did unlock the full flock achievement, but I expected something more along the lines of lore.
Ich bin another locked law? No, I do not want. I want unlocked law now. Ja, sieben Sie hagen Flaggen de Lorenzi. Yeah.
I spent another god tier and had luck on my side for the last fragment, unlocking the remaining fleas. And as chance would have it, I found Monk, hiding the last piece of information we needed.
Unlock all lore. Hey!
Putting together a few more outfits, I got the Jester costume. I pitted these two against each other for the Warriors Curious, and with this boy, my last supper could commence.
And the Lamb of God said he needed 12 disciples to carry out his word, to be an ambassador for the cult. And thee have there 12 apostles, 12 disciples, to spread the word, the gospel of thy cult of the Lamb, Lamb of God. Jesus in a woolly, clothy outfit.
On the topic of outfits, I was at the mercy of Barrett's sewing speed. The scholar shirt was her final piece, closing out her fabulous collection. Now there was only one thing left to cook: an omelette.
Yeah, that's it. Walk away. Huh! Doken! That's one. One yolk. Chocolate starfish, 86 with bunny. Let's go. Make the egg. Gotta crack some eggs to make an omelette.
The last yolk was provided by Narinder and my wife. This is so weird. Smashing it, I got the chef's jacket, the set of trends achievement, but also
Godhood!
No longer a service, no less than a god.
I had done it. 48 achievements and a hell of a lot of collectibles later. I had done it. I celebrated by treating the cult to a tall goblet of poop juice, brewed courtesy of Leshy.
Come and celebrate with some poop juice, people. You've earned it. You've earned it.
Fading out, I witnessed the chaos that ensued from gulping down a whole glass of poop. Just lovely. I jacked myself back into the game after a hibernation of quite some time, and so did an emerging ominous statue of a bull. I don't know why I thought it was a bull, but its muscle reminded me of bovine features.
Woolhaven activated.
Before heeding any call, I refamiliarized myself with the cult, and in my absence they had hoarded up an impressive amount of devotion.
Oh, a bunch of poo. The first thing I do is clean poo. We're back in business.
And these sinful boys seem to have sipped on the poop juice a little too much. Adolescent starfish witnessed their hedonistic ways. He didn't at all approve.
He's a madman. He's crazy. He's absolutely crazy. Is he leaving? And he's gone. What an idiot.
With him gone, I surrendered to the statue.
Oh. Okay, we're doing a floated dance.
And winter's chill graced our feet.
You guys like it? Whoop! Haru! My old spirit guide.
Haru and I go way back, a pure OG. He's the one that guided me way back when.
The lands hath not felt the touch of snow in many years. 'Tis clear. Winter is coming!
Haru left me to heed the call of winter and make another offering to her shrine. And so the little gremlin Goofernon appeared.
Hail! Jing has sent me to work in your service. I am Goofernon, architect to the gods. Your face is that of a starfish. Goofernon? I like it.
Goofernon offered to expand my dominion for a small settlement of gold bars. He's patiently waiting at the edge of my valley. But my cult's faith was rather low, so I stepped onto the altar and uttered a few select words.
Oh, a banger sermon preached. I still know my stuff. I got the Lord. I got the good Lord going down on me.
And we enjoyed the satiation of a feasting ritual. Acolyte Bunny was anxious from the falling frost and asked me if we should all be afraid.
You should always be afraid in a cult, Bunny. Especially when I'm running it.
My first down payment of 10 gold bars was enough for Goofernon and his wild crew to uncover another veil.
Am I just inviting trouble into my cult here? Oh, great, more starfish.
We flooded this new luscious glade, and I would hire the crew 2 more times until there was no soil left to claim. Invigorated by this renewed purpose, he gifted us a starfish mole. But my joy was short-lived when Fiarna suffered a sudden cardiac arrest. Mertre, distressed by the whole thing, was now heavily dissenting.
Oh, come off it and leave.
And he did. You can see him leaving in the background while I pay my respects to the bovine lamb. This granted me the follower wedding ceremony. Haru figured this loveful celebration would help my followers endure this unyielding cold. I don't know if that's true, but I have to take your word for it, Haru. My last tribute offered a point of no return. Woolhaven would now be in full effect.
Oh, arise, young lamb. Fly me to the heavens.
As I ascend, a doom-laden cutscene calls. A deep power reverberating within the mountain.
Yet again, I find myself not in the clouds, but what looks to be a mountain top.
I put one hoof in front of the other as grandiose calls echoed through the mountain pass.
Heed my call. I am the mother of the flock, stayed in death, and I summon you to my service. Hey, look at me. I am the Holy Lamb right now. Should totally bring a slinky here.
Wouldn't that have been incredible? It would surely be some kind of a record. I made my way to the top of this very slinkable stairs, and I'm suddenly greeted by the title track.
Woolhaven.
Ominous. Ominous indeed.
A new path opened up back at the cult, and I both found myself in Woolhaven and in a state of craving constant guidance.
Thy holy cold cow, what does thy beg of me? Give me direction. Ingya, by the power of your call, we are here. Ingya, at the mountain peak, you wait for us. Ingya, in the shadow of mountain, we build our haven. Ingya, by the power of your call, we are here. Ingya, Ingya. I don't have the speed to read. You wait for us.
By a ritualistic chant of statues, a flight of stairs leading up the mountain opened up just behind her bovineness. I admired the name of each gravestone and then explored the dilapidated area seemingly frozen in time. I found a lost tablet of lore out on the docks.
Looks to be like a sacrificial kind of deal over here.
And by searching every nook and cranny, I uncover another tablet, skewer a rat for a morsel, and harvest a few chilies.
Chili seed? Will we need to plant these seeds to get ourselves a meal for some cold resistance later on?
That's what Zelda has taught me, and I only play by the rules of Zelda. Inga directed me up the stairs to my first ever crusade of E-Fall, where a bunch of graffiti was smeared on our poor mother's effigy, paying homage to the free pack. I got the Battler's Bludgeon, which looks to be a new weapon for Woolhaven. It gave me serious delusions of grandeur while battering wolves.
When winter comes, the lone wolf dies, but the pack survives.
A maxim I just disproved, by the way.
I mean, I'm basically Kratos in wolf form. Hoof mythology.
After my introduction to the wolf pack, I took my first steps toward the mountaintop of E-Fall. The mountain keeps getting bigger. The enticing orb emanating in front of me begged to be touched. And I don't have a choice in these things, you see?
No, don't touch it. Don't touch it, Lamb of God.
Caressing it, and something suddenly slithered around my wrist. Now a passenger, the mountain's frozen heart shattered into something far more sinister-like, awakening what must have been a pack of ill-willed polyps. They were truly grotesque.
You have awoken her. Awoken winter. I told you, winter's coming. But lost, we're lost. Please, shepherd us home to the cold mother. Sure. I mean, yeah. Of course.
I do their bidding and return them to Inga's statue, where winter's grip is now fully unleashed, and it's total pandemonium back at the cult.
Oh, no. What a joke. A little snow angel in the dirt.
Presenting herself, Inga is pleased that I found my way to the home of the lambs.
Ah, so you're a lamb, not a cow. You look like a cow. Sorry. You're very graceful. I'm sorry.
She tasked me with returning all dead souls left in the bishop's wake, the offered lamb who walked this path before me. Don't worry, Inga. I dethroned and subjugated them all to rather cruel and humiliating practices. The work is basically already half done. If I do this, she'd gift me her wisdom of winter. Before also collecting the rotburn she would need, I evaluated the needs of the cult, discovering I was missing a large array of vital equipment for it to be self-sufficient while I'll be away on my crusades.
Requires janitor station. I don't have a janitor station? Are you telling me that I don't have a janitor station? I don't have a janitor station.
My lumberyards and stone mines had also depleted, so I built and upgraded 2 of each. And then I saw him. Donkey. Somehow still alive.
Donkey is actually alive.
For my well-earned pleasure, I gave him a rather good bullying. Preaching another sermon unlocked a whole new branch of perks. I chose Might of the Devout 7, increasing the level of my starting weapons on crusades. And whilst in the chapel, I also decided to warm the hearts of 2 of my followers with a wedding ceremony. If I'm being honest, I was going to inflict some additional suffering and humiliation to 2 of the bishops, but they were unfortunately unavailable. So I pimped out my own partner, Dr. Sosonius, instead.
Ah, love. My temple is full of love. It's a disgusting temple.
I prepared the kitchen with cauliflower chowder and then headed toward Eiffel to fulfill Inga's request of Rotburn.
Necromantic blunderbuss. Oh yeah, because I have my fleece. Maybe I should put on the regular one so I get different types of weapons. Still kind of nice though. Oh yes. Kratos just got an upgrade.
Wolves came at me laden with explosives, and I fired my way through to the Bird of Fate, Mr. Klonek. Klonek had moved shop to support me during this winter's chilled quest, so I drew a tarot card from his deck and all enemies now take damage while I take double the damage.
Is this gonna be our first little boss? No. But this seems to be Rotburn.
And rotten it was.
Starfish man, Gothernon. What is this strange material? It seems as stone, yet feels like flesh, growing from the ground like something tumorous. Yep, this is Rotburn, baby. Give it to me.
A foreboding statue with wolf-like features appeared in my path. An insult to our claim. I of course crushed it into pieces.
And now she becomes the mother. It's very mothery of you.
Another deadly dance with wolves and I ran into a set of large and inverted footprints in the snow.
Examine remains. Bigfoot. Big feet?
Following the deformed feet, I could spot the monster just beyond the edge in a deep slumber. And resembling the monster was a statue scribbled with red markings.
Beast of blizzard, rest till storm and hunger calls. Hunger always calls, man.
More wolves. Cardboard this time. And the deeper I went, the worse the rot.
Boom.
Guffernon was as confused by the rot as I was, and I believe a hint of apprehension had entered his mind. Anyway, he left to search for clues of this festering substance.
Ooh. I know this game. No, I don't, actually. The bishops. The 4 bishops.
Ritualistic paganism is well within my repertoire, but I was expecting more of a confrontation. I had trouble remembering their names at first, but I did recall their correspondent color. All crowned and all rotten, something stunk.
Alright. Speak to me, mother of coldness. Oh no, did I just corrupt her? Or was she corrupt already?
These are the questions, and this is a preserved sample set of wool. I grabbed it.
Leshy's face looks like a butthole.
That is a stinky sphincter, no doubt about it. I returned to another crown-bolstering sermon, this time unlocking flail mastery. I also performed a harvest ritual, figuring winter would soon take its toll.
Everybody put your cloaks on. We're doing the vegetable dance.
It obviously didn't work because the soil was already frozen solid. However, it did remind me to stock up the seed boxes come summer. I returned to Mother Inga again, when a statue suddenly vibrated with life.
Have we awoken a spirit? You have found one of my disciples, the most devoted of my flock. They were taken and locked away, but we must finish the ritual.
Each batch of souls strengthened winter. I was assured the furnace was the only counter, as winter was now in full form and without fuel, my followers would freeze. This is like the 3rd time winter's been fully unleashed. What are we doing here?
Is it 10 commandments? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 10 commandments. It's 10 statues, that means 10 commandments. I'm calling it right now.
I call them commandments, but I was actually talking about the 10 plagues. You know, grasshoppers and such. Anyway, I bear the wool and Barak the rancher pops out as a holy ghost.
Harishma, Harishma, Harishma.
Reincarnated, he couldn't hide his disappointment when he saw his former ranch collapsed. No worries, Barak. I'll rebuild it.
First, you'll need to find shards. That was a hard word. From Eiffel. Once you've found them, bring them to me. I will find your shards.
A third of this status meter lit up. Looks like I will need 2 more lost souls before winter intensifies. Back home, I built the furnace and fed it what rotburn I had. Shame you can't burn followers. I have plenty. With inspiration left in the tank, I unlocked the baptismal bath. So should any of my followers freeze, I can thaw them right up. Enjoying winter, I built a snow lamb and whacked Tainoar right in the face.
Boom. Oh, he liked it.
He then admired my masterful snow architecture.
Wow, what a great snow lamb leader. Truly, there's nothing you cannot do. You haven't even watched it. Suck up.
He didn't really have a choice. I am his divine leader and do have a reputation for ritual sacrifice. The collective's worship dues allowed me to unlock the carpentry station, and I assigned Rooster Boy its responsibility.
Forever tender and cold mother, what do thy ask of me?
Not much. Basically, be attentive to your followers, and would you mind bringing our flock home already?
Yes, 1,000 times, yes, I will.
Forgetting to change fleeces, I still rocked the cowboy within, and ran into our common perpetrator, Marcosius. I stated my intent.
I'm supposed to kill you, Marcosius. My pack howls true, a disgusting little crown bearer treads upon my mountain, your mountain. You stole our mountain. Oh, he's got one of those charged shards. Oh, that's such a hard word to say.
He cursed all gods to be the same and administered an experiment to test my godly disposition.
The choice is yours. You may keep enough food to last 5 days, or enough food for 10 days. But I will take a heart. Forever.
It was a pretty straightforward choice, to be honest.
5 days.
Fancy that. His hypothesis was right. Typical, he says, and I continued the crusade, forced to defeat his henchmen in a very specific order. I got the Grand Mancer's bomb relic.
Let's try it out. Oh yeah, that Black Acre was truly great. Bullet time. Boom.
Finishing the first tier of rooms and I'm rewarded.
Follower form. Oh, it's like a snow gorilla. That I need.
Little did I know this parchment would change the course of the cult forever.
Ooh, charged shards. It's like a tongue twister. Charged shards. Charged shards.
It's truly a hard note to hit. Goofernon warned me about Marcosius, a heathen harnessing power through these shards. I tore them down right away and collected my first pieces. Firing straight into the rot ahead, I get a relic.
Oh, a wand. Oh,
I then ran into an old aquatic acquaintance.
Hey, fishman. Manfish, the fisherman.
Pilgrim's Passage had apparently frozen over, and he wondered where a man was supposed to fish.
Where's a fishman to man? Got a sweater vest there to cover up your gills? A nose and a mustache for a practical disguise. Boots and eyebrows. Yes. Oh yeah, sure, you're a fisherman.
Finally, I was face to face with Marcosius' first henchman, or face to cage, as he's yet to be unleashed. Bragging about his followers worshipping him on his own accord, Adon here released the ravenous beast Abbas.
Oh, Adon! That's what you get.
An easy kill and I remain unscathed. Looks like my skills with the rifle still stands. I sent the whimpering wolf back to the cult, our first wolf pack follower, and a new form to go with it, immediately followed by 2 more from the big hunk of chest that appeared. In the deepest chasm, I found the lost souls and rot spreading further. If she really were of bovine pedigree, I'd blame her for mad cow disease. I returned to a frozen cult in crisis, speeding to refill the furnace with rot burn.
I don't have any. Damn.
I do what I can to stabilize the cult's faith levels, unlocking more curses on crusades and perform another feasting ritual. Winter ended after the sermon, but that's what a good sermon does.
Alright people, we have work to do. Just like Saruman said. We have work to do.
Lacking seeds, I purchased a veritable sack from this worm to refill our boxes, and noticed Jeff still floating about.
Jeff, you're still here.
He offers a warning. Inga isn't as holy as she claims. Though now that I think about it, she never actually claimed to be holy. Haru did. This is really his fault. Tough times continued. Drefdgv was stirring dissent, so I locked him up. Palmer seemed to enjoy it, and I built a weather vane to predict the coming misery.
While you build that, let's indoctrinate this Abbas. Yeah. Imagine a whole cult of these guys. I need to change everybody into my little snow gorillas. No, I need sin. Damn it. People need to start drinking again.
So I fashioned up some cold brews. The snow globe now displayed the seasonal shifts. This was great, but I didn't really pay it any attention. I delivered the shards to Barak, but we were still missing a special bark, found deep within the mountain. I then returned the souls and Inga was rather tired of Marcosius, proclaiming he needs to be cold.
Hey, our cold mother is ice cold.
With the power to claim inside the mountain, she opened up a new path, and we could see Marcosius residing at the top. But my hooves had business in the rotten core.
Oh, there's a peak of rot. Alright, the rot peak, let's go. Will we get a lot of rot burn? I hope so.
Goofernon, basically swimming in rot, had dug his way into the caves. These caves were usually not so inhospitable, and his disillusionment in Inga grew. I had forgotten to change fleeces again, and I wanted to see what weapons Woolhaven had to offer, so I switched to the golden fleece. I might take double damage, but after each kill my damage output is also increased.
There we go, alright. Vampiric flail. That's what we're talking about. Sonic boom! Oh, what kind of cool cat is this? Stell.
This supposed cat, though apparently more moth than feline, was down here looking for a light to chase. She hoped I'd find what I was looking for. I'm sure I'll be seeing a lot more of her. You might wonder why Rooster Boy is here. Well, he drank so much sinful juice that it outright damned him, so he was out to collect. But he got a mace in his face just like everyone else. The mountain now felt like a rotten hell. The enemies were harder and more devious, and appearance-wise, absolute abominations. Exhibit A.
Oh my god! What is that?
I don't know, and I don't want to find out. Kimak, the rather unhinged bird,
delicious.
argued this rot was heaven.
You sick puppy.
She might be a little disturbed, but I hijacked her beads of the anchorite relic anyway. I left Kimak and exorcised Rooster Boy from his brewed up malice.
You back, baby? Give me that sin. I'm back to the abyss.
On the verge of death, I spammed my crown ability, and later it was hoof to trypophobic insect appendage.
Pain, hurt, all suffer, we suffer.
I kept my distance at first, and exploited my flay's long range, but ultimately died. Luckily, I could sacrifice a follower and carry on.
Sasonius, I can't kill you. Donkey, though. I can kill you. I've done that before, and I'll happily do it again.
Donkey's life force was enough for me to cryogenically freeze the ladybug and claim victory.
Oh, you're a tiny brain follower.
Apprehensive, I decided to indoctrinate whatever it was anyway. A cult needs its slaves, regardless of their appearance. I got a necklace allowing a follower to survive a natural death and called my lost kin home. Just like the rot growing, so did my skepticism about this cold mother of ours.
I don't know about this chilly mother. Maybe Marcosius is not the bad guy.
For my benefit, Goofernon dug forth an otherwise locked path. That was good, but I was still cursing out Inga.
100% she's manipulating me. 100%.
And rightly so, judging by Inga's rotten heart buried deep in the mountain.
My flock keeps it beating. You must return them all to me. Only then will my great power be unleashed. I don't know. Yeah, but if your heart is the one... Got a bad feeling about this. Get your stuff, Barak.
But there was still one last thing to do. Consecrate the bark into its purest form. I returned the lost souls and winter was again amplified. Followers could now fully freeze should the furnace go out, and I unlocked the enhanced bonfire ritual, which let me lock the cult's warmth for a day. I'd picked up forget-me-not flowers on my crusades and found a vase for them down by the docks. On day 174, I returned home, but people weren't freezing. They were starving. Not that I noticed. I was too busy admiring what their hard work had unlocked. I collected the harvest, filled the seed boxes alongside the poop boxes, and tended the morgue now full of bodies, stinking up the place. I can't remember how I got the spider skull or why I felt the urge to bury it, but I did.
Hey! Weber! What?
Must have been from the Don't Starve collab. One of you probably reminded me in the comments. Cheers. While everyone upgraded the crypt to house this whole new stack of bodies accumulated, it was a good opportunity for an inspirational talk. I then indoctrinated Poyle, my first rotten follower, and he had a letter to deliver.
I don't think it's mine. I don't have any lost messages covered in blood.
Unable to change his form, he would remain a poop-rotten polyp. Apparently they never sleep, work non-stop, then die 10 days later. Honestly, the perfect acolyte. They also pray to the rotten shrine of Inga to unlock special rewards. I had a high amount of grass and a cult yet to be satiated. Luckily, a previous doctrine had removed the negative effects of eating a delicious grassy gruel, so I fired up the kitchen, then collected stone and lumber before looking into some refinement.
Pure Jew bark. Just need one.
I joined my rotten Poyle in prayer, unlocking a special tarot card, and Helop had found his way into Woolhaven. I'm probably his only customer, so yes, he's following me. But at 100% off, I'll allow it. Repairing Barak's farm, I would now be able to ranch my own animals.
Yes. Oh, no. Raise and keep animals in your cult. Works together with ranch fence, which requires 8 empty tiles. Oh, maybe we can butcher them for meat, actually. Yeah. That is whatever you say it is.
I grabbed the yakish so generously provided by Barak and rushed home, built my own ranch and proudly assembled my herd. All one of them.
Add new animal. Yakish. I can butcher it for 4 steaks. Woolen. Weird and delicious. Oh, it's tiny. Freshly born. Minus 50% resources and meat. How do I butcher it? Not now.
Welcoming my second blob of rot and loading into the next session, something dawned on me.
You know what? I just realized something. I saw an achievement here. Yeah, the prodigal child inherit Ratau's legacy. Ratau's dead.
My predisposition for murder always come back to haunt me for some reason. During sunrise of day 176, I sheared my massive herd.
Hey, got a wool. Let's feed him a berry.
Such a good boy deserves a treat. My bottom bitch, now apparently a botanist, was interested in a flower growing in Leshy's old domain, Darkwood. I'd have to venture back there at some point. I opened the free bar. The bartender drank most of it, brainwashed my followers with another sermon, and unlocked Relics of the Burning, thus ushering in Woolhaven into the relic mix. Rehabilitated Drufgedug was now ready to rejoin society, and he straight up started worshipping. That's when I realized I might have too many worshippers. Then again, you can never have too many people worshipping you. Anyway, I performed a harvest ritual, this time successfully, then shuffled some of that divine workload to tend our farms. Delivering my first wool to Barak was enough to unlock further requests, all scribbled on his quest board.
Bring a level 2 Yakish to Barak's quest board. You got it, you got it. Bring a level 2 cowish, turtleish, crabbish, snailish.
Calamar had died of old age, but I didn't give it a second glance. They're all just a means to an end after all. More could be said about my ranch animals, but I had no intention of tending them personally.
Do I need to take care of all these guys myself? Maybe I'll unlock something later. Croco's doing great work. Chocolate starfish. Abomination. Degraded to the mines.
I then revisited and tore it up in Darkwood, acquiring Camillas for Narinder's quest and rescuing a more conventional follower.
Boom. You're with me now, buddy. You'll probably be turned into a monkey. Flowers. Almost missed you. I only have a half heart left. Gods be with me. Oh, half a heart. Thank you, mother. Thank thy blessed mother.
I hammered my way to Valifal, and he leapt with great fury. But it was his zany and bouncing fireballs that kept me on my toes, and I died. Hanging on in limbo, I sacrificed the geriatric Greyule. He was hanging on by a thread anyway, which was perfect. With half and a blue heart, I managed to bring him down, and through a redemption campaign, chose a peck of berries to bring back to the cult. I kept my promise and indoctrinated Albino the monkey. Gave the one who waits his flowers, he was as insubordinate as ever, and generated sin through my vessel Abomination.
See if we can get that sin out of you. I have exorcised the demons. This abomination is clear. What kind of food do we... What is this? Egg meal. A meal made of delicious fresh eggs. Where did I get eggs? 100% chance of an elderly follower becoming young again. That's badass.
So I cooked 3 of this rejuvenating dish and scouted for old people.
You, sir. Find a meal to eat. Do I have another old follower here somewhere? Maybe I only had him. I shouldn't have cooked 3 of them.
Probably not, what a waste. I accepted a quest of welcoming 2 starving people into the cult. Naturally, they became snow gorillas.
And your name's gonna be Cornflakes.
With mines and lumberyards running, I started refining materials and then tended to my animals.
Oh yeah, you need to be fed. Sorry. Are you dying?
He was on the verge, but a few berries brought him right back.
Okay. Where we going?
Just like feeding, walking leveled them right up.
I can name you. Okay, obviously I'm gonna name you Beef.
I find attachment really improves a steak's juiciness. After a soothing pet, he was ready for delivery.
Bring a level 2. Do I need to just walk? Do I need to walk with him to Barak? Alright, sacrifice, we're going for a stroll. You and I. Come here. Deposit sacrifice. Well done, youngster. A fine ranching specimen. I found a new ranch animal for you too.
This gave me access to a Lamish, but I didn't have enough wool for a trade, so it meant another crusade through Evefall.
Bane Gauntlet. You merely adopted the gauntlet. I was born with it, Ichor Forsaken.
Clawing, I made it to Marcosia's study.
Is this your doing, foul god? You spread this burning rot to drive us away from our home.
He administered another test, this time a choice of giving up all my rotburn or food.
I'm gonna go with all rotburn because I think the furnace was burning hot anyway.
A Hobson's choice, really. I couldn't win either way.
Oh, Midas! Didn't I kill you? I don't remember. By the teeth of the wolf, you've stolen from us the last time. Pay for your sin of greed. I see you haven't changed, Midas. Ooh, why, my good fellow? We can work this out. You seem a reasonable sort of wolf, yes.
The only reasoning he did was with his axe. And reason he did.
Decapitated! Oh shit, he's going for me! Woo!
I spewed out my black ichor and stopped the furry bloke.
Poor Midas.
I sent his cranium back to the cult, smashed a set of Marcosia's experiments, unlocking a lower tablet, and rescued a follower from the very jaw of the wolf pack.
Hello there, little elephant. I will rescue you. I might cut your tusks. Hey, this ain't no charity. Tusks for food.
I ran into Ratu, still blissfully unaware that I sacrificed his brother, and he challenged me to clear the next few rooms without taking a single hit. Unfortunately, that reward remains uncollected.
Hey, who are you?
He was the dissenter who left the cult 16 days earlier, and his rage for me had not subsided.
You're huge. What did I feed you? Probably nothing. Back to the cult. Oh, sacrificial remains. You did not want to go back.
Like before, the deeper I delved, the more rot had festered.
What just happened?
I died, but I had wrinkles to spare. Thanks, buddy. End of the line was another bishop crowning puzzle. There's clear symbolism here. don't ask me what it means. Crowning the one who waits unleashed another wave of rot, and I grabbed the wool of both the Stargazer and the Scholar. When I returned, the cult looked bleak.
Oh yeah, people are freezing. Do I have any? No. Could I get any? That's the question.
After a quick sermon, confirming I had already unlocked every perk, I jumped back into the rotten caverns. Searching for Rotburn, I met the Executioner.
This is the guy who sacrificed me in the beginning of Cult of the Lion.
Ridden with guilt over her past transgressions, she had exiled herself here as penance. It's a start, but we'll see if we can't help her out later. Anyway, she left right when her punishment was due.
Maybe you?
After the oil spill, Furfur openly shouted me out. And to summarize, Old Lady yells at Cloud.
Ooh, Rotburn. I think I'm actually gonna go back. Put some in the furnace. Yeah, I did lose some resources doing that, but the flock is more important.
The flock comes first.
I knew you could do it. You truly are divine. What did I do? I mean, I do divine things all day, every day. You have to be more specific.
I threw chilled anxiety in a hot bath.
Let's thaw you up, buddy.
And refilled the carpentry station so my followers could repair damaged buildings themselves.
How you doing, Beef?
After tending to Beef's every need, he turned into a gallant stallion.
Yeehaw!
On my joyride, I found someone else too.
Sacrifice? Are you back?
Apparently, Barak just wanted proof of competence. Dismounting, I put him back in the pen and trimmed him immediately.
Oh, Dragif has frozen completely. Do I just keep him here?
The baptismal bath had no power here, so he became a monument to our struggles.
Oh. Hatchable Midas Skull. Do I put him in an incubator? So it's an egg? His cranium is an actual egg?
I can only imagine the horrors hatching from that egg.
Butt phase. I'm very mature for my age.
Welcoming another monkey, the furnace ran dry. Having dealt with that, I buried the holy wool of Kuka and Annual. Each returned to their dilapidated shacks, and each increased winter's meter.
Jolty ate an exquisite meal. Good for you, Jolty.
With wool to spare, I acquired an additional 2 Yakish, then spoke to the holy ghosts.
Kuka, as in boil. Boil here. Oh, my home, it's fallen prey to its time and neglect.
Like Barak, they wished for me to repair their houses. Coincidentally, I had a rotten crusade waiting for me, which was a perfect opportunity to get some more of that precious bark. I also remembered to pick up as many forget-me-not flowers I could, as I wanted to fill up the empty vases back in Woolhaven.
The cards read clear. Fate's hand hovers above you, lamb. Plans laid long ago bear fruit only now. Come, consult the deck and see what wisdom they offer.
Whatever you say, bird. I talked with the Executioner again. She was extremely remorseful, but she left before I had a chance of rejecting her apology.
Scarecrow. What do you have there? Yunkish? Lamish? You kind of remind me of the character in Darkwood. You got the same outfit.
Thistle's caravan had run aground, and he was looking for a way out. That was about it, not a very fruitful conversation. I then pondered which road to take.
I mean, an egg's an egg, but the mystery pot could be anything. It could even be an egg. Let's go there.
Finally, some real action. Though my level 22 gauntlet and special crown ability, granting me a small window of invincibility, hardly made it fair.
Wait, it's a snail toad vegetable flower thing?
The cross-eyed chameleon was the gardener, and he welcomed me to stuff his flowers.
Stop yelling. My beauty has a cost. My flowers are hungry for flowers. And if you give them some, they might give something back.
So I stuffed his flowers, mostly in return of nothing, but I sprouted a follower and a blueprint. Raging on, I unwittingly activated Shanru's charm, shrinking down to microscopic levels without any noticeable benefit, apart from being very small. And once again burnt myself to a crisp.
What happened?
By the power of a tarot card, I was resurrected. But only for a short moment, and I all but wasted Yammer's life too.
Not again!
You shall rise again.
To my liking, winter had now diminished, though it was immediately clouded by the rotting of Poil.
Prepare for burial, harvest meat. I don't want to eat rotten meat. Right?
I have puked enough times in my life to figure that one out. Plus, he deserved a proper burial. The guy had been slaving away non-stop for 10 days. It's the least I could do. I added 3 Yakish to the herd, fed everyone, sheared the ones I could, and took a walk. When Dref suddenly came waving, smiling.
Leader, these strange animals in the ranch, they speak to me. They want follower meat. No, they won't. No, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
Oh, it happened just a while later.
That big mountain looks new.
Looking for answers to Ratau's mysterious disappearance, I hopped on over to the lonely shack. I checked this overgrown statue. Apparently you could send over a soul to the ether never to return.
Yeah, but why?
Donkey.
99 years of age.
This must have been the original donkey, not the imposter we bullied before. Anyway, Habre would be the one sent away.
One small gift. That was all I got.
For a soul of such quality, I'd expected at least a medium gift. Right by Ratau's old hut was an unfinished letter, and I couldn't help but pry.
I've tried many times to write this letter to you, only to find myself unable to express what I wish to say.
There were many more half-finished letters like this one, all confessing some sort of gratitude toward me. Finally, it signed off.
I'm proud of you, your dear friend and mentor Ratau. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. I sent him to the abyss with the fox. Oh my god.
Ratau's old gang was still hanging around, and apart from Bob being an absolute scoundrel, they were either partying hard or mourning their lost rodent friend. I left them to it and instead said hello to Plimbo, inspected Soso's fossilized shell before hopping back to the scene of the crime.
This is where I sacrificed Ratau. Brings me back.
That was enough sentiment from me. Upon my return, a rotten follower spontaneously crystallized, rot bursting off his sides. But the obelisks were mineable for rotburn, so that was a nice surprise. I queued up a heap of food orders, and as my resources tumbled down, I thought it best to perform another harvesting ritual. I then buried Fitre as my followers harvested his death essence, and I welcomed Patrier to the cult. He didn't get to keep it, but his form inspired his new and improved name, Mantis.
Mantis Toboggan.
After another shearing, I named the rest of my livestock. The naming pattern should be obvious at this point.
Rumpstick. That's a good one.
I still had the quest of feeding an animal follower meat.
Let's see if you can go feral. Feed follower meat. Whoa! Hey! Oh, he beat Beef black and blue.
I tried to soothe him and then tended to Beef's wounds, but he had gotten a taste of blood. He was unstoppable.
Hey! You're banished from the pen. Go have a good think of what you've done. Filthy animal.
I probably just set him loose on the cult, to be honest. Trenna died of old age, bringing the cult down to 25 followers, and I began refining dewbark to its purest form. A few of my worker stations had collapsed, so I repaired those and claimed 2 crusade bonuses, increasing my damage by a total of 15% on my next crusade. That is stupidly overpowered. I should have built more shrines. I often stopped by Barak before a crusade to acquire his leftover livestock, and this time would be no different. I fought these hard-to-hit shadow bats, enjoyed cleaving away with my axe heavy spin attack, and dropping an occasional bile of goo on thicker enemies. I then offered gold to this rich idol.
Give me potatoes.
And I was happy with the veritable ingredients rewarded. I got my gold back and more by looking inside these purses of coin anyway.
Let's get the egg. Might mean something else. It's a golden egg. Alright, Smog, what do you want?
Smog's brooding efforts had not panned out the way he liked, and asked me to lend a helping hoof.
I'm stealing your gold and you're saying nothing.
Fake dragon. I accepted his request and left 10 flowers as a remembrance bouquet. I collected more rotburn and then ran into Madame Furfur again.
Yeah, this place is really the bee's knees. Alright. It's you, the quiet one. Welcome to the Sin House. A house of hard work and hard play.
Unlike her prude granddaughter, she knew how to have a good time.
Insolence in the Sin House is punishable by death.
I accepted her offer to increase the sin of one of my followers, and so did Drifgeduguf.
Oh, you're naked? He likes to dance.
I didn't recognize her at first, but I stood gawking in front of Stell again. So happy she had found her purpose, she handed me a parting gift.
Don't tell me I'm gonna get a bikini. A bathing suit. Dude, you're drooling. Now you're dead.
I mean, can you really blame him? My cleaving ways continued. I cut this tall snail in two, and I figured I'd run into Klonik in the next room. He was nowhere to be seen, but it left me 3 tarot cards to play with. I replaced my special ability with a flaming shot because it's so flaming good, and then ran into Klonik anyway. Safe to say I have no idea what the other thing was. I then fought the grotesque monster Asbeil. His burrowing mind was sharp, but my spinning heavy attack and flaming shot worked in perfect synergy. He was pretty easy, and I got a new rotten follower.
Yeah, I need 3 of these guys, so I probably need to resurrect one of them, and I need to do another crusade right away. Acquired Rotburn Candle. Put it in the book.
I grabbed my ghostly kinsmen and immediately returned them to you-know-who.
Inga! 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 Oh! Whoa! Did I initiate another winter? My flock returns and so does the pain.
But her powers increased, and with them, so did winter. Blizzards would now occasionally blister through the cult.
I will improve your furnace, my shepherd. Please do.
She helped me upgrade the furnace to level 2. With enough rotburn, I could now dispel a blizzard. Left unchecked, my followers would stop working, starve, and eventually freeze to death.
We have a blizzard! Everybody, get inside!
With 0 rotburn in reserves, the blizzard would rage on. And it was freezing. At least Fizzles thawed my frozen heart with a declaration of love. What a sweet monkey. I remembered I could refine shards and stone into rotburn, but I only had enough shards for 13 rotburn, so it wouldn't have made much difference. There was only one thing to do, a rotten crusade. Unable to run the same crusade twice, I had no choice but to advance deeper. I met up and talked with the busy beetle Sebnok. She was so busy being busy that she dismissed me, but would invite me to her forge later. Perhaps, maybe. I don't know, the invitation was definitely obtuse.
Rude.
There wasn't much resistance to be had when I wielded the thunderous blunderbuss. I tore through them, found a room stacked with treasure, collected rotburn, and shot the shadow dust off of this red gremlin.
Stolen bile. Sacrifice a rotten follower when resurrecting yourself to return to full health. Let's hope we don't come to that.
Dissenter Metred followed me. He was out to expose my false prophethood.
Oh my god, big brain moves now.
That is one big head. Much too big for such a stupid plan. I turned him into follower meat. I solved a sliding puzzle in the back room. It was one of the easier ones. And got an additional 2 wool to bury back in Woolhaven.
A lovely bush contorted into an eternal scream. Lovely. Let's put that in the cult. Wake up to a scream every morning.
It would be refreshing to wake up to someone else's scream for a change. It was the first time in a while I returned without having an immediate crisis to handle. Something Mernana couldn't let slide.
Hey, you're of the same complexion. What are you doing? Stop it.
The fight followed with him damned. Figures.
I'll get you back. Oh yeah, Midas. Are you ready to hatch?
God help us all. I thought I could fix him, though his sinister smile suggested otherwise. But I couldn't give up on him before giving him a proper chance. So I chucked him in childcare and then queued up the cult's next set of meals. I unlocked the Rotburn mine. Now a follower can generate Rotburn, so that's pretty good. And with inspiration to spare, I also got the Butcher's Block. Which means my freeloading livestock is no longer safe.
What is this? Are you sick? Clean this stinky animal up. I need to clean you guys? Man. You're all high maintenance.
After shearing and feeding, I noticed I had fed the wrong Yakish follower meat. So I reached out with a spoonful to tenderloin. This time I was quick with the leash and took a stroll through the cult, where honestly my followers were just as feral.
Not again. Dr. Sasonius? You're a doctor, you should know better.
Dr. Sasonius could not get enough.
You're on the rampage, Sasonius. Lest you don't fight the monkey. Enough.
Excuse me while I brew up some more fighting juice, interrupt yet another fight, and discovered a fight club behind the baptismal bath. Christ. I released 5 new animals into the ranch.
It's my first llama. Yay, buddy.
And taking a walk, I noticed Beef's head now decorated with a halo.
Does that mean he's fully domesticated, maybe? Ascend prime animal. Oh, it's prime.
The prime beef marketing ad basically writes itself. Narinder then wanted me to revisit Anura for a menticide mushroom harvest.
I don't want to do that. I want to focus on Woolhaven.
And that meant building my first Rotburn mine, placing down 2 butcher's blocks, expanding the enclosure, and putting the hatchet in Beef's back.
Gruesome. Gruesome.
Hey, a cult's gotta eat, right?
I could send someone on a missionary. Krakow. Ooh, Rotburn. Hell yeah, let's do that. Yeah. And you better not come back empty-handed.
After unlocking and placing down a breeding hutch, I kept my faith level stable with an overdue sermon.
Thanks for your donations to the collect.
And then ran over to Woolhaven.
Have they started to rot?
Oh, I'm sorry, what gave it away? But just like the wool of the shrewd and the charred, I was already buried in this. I then rebuilt Aniel's hut with my pure and consecrated bark. And she challenged me to a game of Flockade.
If you want to play a game, please come inside. Alright, sure. Flockade, a strike block parry strategy game with a twist.
It's basically rock, paper, scissors with extra steps, each square acting as its own tiny showdown.
She's probably kicking my ass right now.
Indeed, she claimed the first round, but when I came to terms with the subtleties of the game, I claimed round after round.
Ah, look at this paper. I'm unstoppable.
Winning my first match, she awarded me my first set of custom pieces. I'm going to have to duel and beat a whole lot of goes to collect all 36 pieces for the achievement. I started by betting 1 wool against Annual.
How about that legislation? Bam! Shakalaka-boo! Very good, a wonderful round of duels, Shepherd. It is an honor to lose to you. Yay! I got the Shepherd piece. What does that do? At the start of their turn, the opponent draws 1 piece instead of 3.
It sounds crazily overpowered, but I'm not so sure it is.
Look at what happened to my forge. How am I gonna smith without a forge? I can repair your forge.
And so I did, and that opened up another line of quests of obtaining all legendary shard fragments to forge the 7 legendary weapons. She kind of shouted it all at me until I finally submitted. In the corner was another lore tablet, and I rebuilt Miss Boyle's shack as well. She wanted me to find her children playing hide and seek an ample amount of times.
Oh, these are tarot cards. Oh my god, I need so much wool. You know what? I need him. I only have 23 followers left. It's gonna bring me up to 24 at least.
The death of Grenna sent me back to 23 followers again, and I finished decorating one of the vases.
No way! The symbol for the fox. I must come here during the night. Are you level 2, Napoleon? Yes, you are.
That meant another livestock delivery.
An impressive specimen, don't you think, Barack?
He was so impressed he now wanted me to breed cattle. So I grabbed my bovine starting kit and headed on back with Napoleon.
There might be a lot of sickness in here. Oh, Midas is drenched in poo.
Cleaning the mountain of poop helps a little, but I think the herd of dirty animals are included in the cult sanitation levels. I unlocked the altar of exorcism and erected it right next to the bath so you can take a relaxing soak after your next exorcism. This game really normalizes the darkest of themes. It's great. I now needed 3 rotten followers for the next offering, and I had 0 left at this point. But it was just a question of raising the dead, though I had quite the selection to choose from.
Oh, Jesus. Walifar. Cabbage. I remember you. Barbados blue balls. Moose of the moose. You were the best.
But rotten was my resurrected selection. On day 191, it was back to the rotten core for a new crusade, where Mernano once again descended, this time through damnation. I'd been brewing so much sinful juice back at the cult that this was bound to happen at some point. I had a ridiculous amount of extra hearts thanks to the empowerment shrines this run, and I got the damned Tears of the Merciful Mother relic that would have rendered me unstoppable, but I never used it. While fishing, Ratu slipped into the Ether Pool and now needed my help to escape, so he tagged along for the ride. Together we picked up a legendary fragment, struck a sacrificial bargain for a health boost, and spoke with Haru. A bit of a flip-flopper, he now condemned Inga himself. He's the one that pushed me into doing her bidding, but fair enough.
That's what I'm saying. Why am I still following her? Why am I doing her bidding? What are my motives?
The path ahead was a web of choices. I chose the path of least resistance, of course, though the fleshy bone boomerangs did prove a bit tricky. With another follower rescued, I investigated a few more stinky flowers from the gardener.
No. Yay!
A mined rotburn, beat the sin out of Mernano, and now faced the gruesome meat of Ophans.
Ooh, it's the butcher from Diablo.
His hooker skills were admirable. I could swing my flail too, you know, but instead I hid in a corner flinging curses.
I can do some damage too. Whoa! Got the big sledgehammer out, eh? Backpack damage.
I knew I was in trouble when he pulled out his spinning wrist move.
Oh, chill.
But no worries, there was plenty of meat to sacrifice.
I think I've sacrificed like 5 enemies, followers, because I've died.
The cult is hemorrhaging prayer fuel. After avoiding this pesky boomerang, I unleashed the last of my curses and brought him down. I claimed his rotten offspring, and seeing as I had managed to keep Ratu alive, he decided a reward was in order.
Take this for your trouble. May it keep you going, even in the hardest of times. I give you the light of Arindel.
Not a light, but a dashingly warm new outfit.
Get inside me, divine spirits.
Finishing off the crusade, Goofernon dug me a shortcut. I returned to see the spoiling corpse of Dr. Sosonius, with a morgue overflowing with carcasses. I expanded the crypts to level 3 to cope with this spike in mortality. Actually, the cult looked kind of down in the dumps overall with hunger and sanitation bottomed out, but faith levels remained strong. The work of the Undertaker still rested on my hooves, but if this continued, I'd soon be out of a job.
My cult shrinks. Vastly.
I embraced Asbiel and tended the second egg of Smog.
You're back?
Kroko had managed to find 20 rotburn on his missionary, so I immediately sent out Palmer for another fulfilling quest. And while cleaning Midas's pen, I noticed he'd soon be trialed as an adult. God help us. Did I already mention that? Ape was indoctrinated and dutifully assigned a labor.
Yeah, mine's some rotburn. Oh, another one?
And he wasn't the only one.
You cook some meals. Oh, another one! Tent farms. What? Yeah, another one? Baboon! Do whatever you like. I care. Here comes you. Another one?
That was nearly a 25 increase in followers in less than a minute. The turnover is absolutely insane. Then again, it is a cult after all. Overseeing the whole thing, my rotten followers prayed to her rotten highness, and I got a special tarot card.
A golden poop from Midas.
Lock him up. Start the excrement harvest immediately. Mantis Toboggan lacked the culinary speed which I myself possessed, so I cooked up a batch of magnificent meals and then talked with baby Midas.
Hey. Oh. Hey! Oh, you'll never catch me. I just left, of course.
Should have locked him up when I had the chance. The required tribute to Inga's effigy had increased, so I resurrected another rotten follower before keeping my faith levels stable with a sermon.
What? Again? You just stole the collection. Midas, how dare you? How dare you?
As an adult, he'll also be tried as an adult. With 4 polyps, we shot some intestinal devotion in Inga's favor, and then Baboon asked if we could accept an outcast, to which I agreed.
I need all the sacrificial meat I can get.
By the way, where are all these followers shunting cults? I thought I was the only rightful supreme leader. I returned the lost souls and shot another frosty beam to the sky. Just like me, you probably noticed that for each amplification, Inga is a bit more rotten. She now gave me a choice, either purge the rot doctrine, I'd argue the more sane of the two, or to embrace the rot.
Yes, embrace the rot. Be one with the rot. Become the rot.
Where did it all go wrong? Obviously, this also brought Winter to level 3.
Wolves will use the snow as cover to attack ranch animals. Keep an eye out so you can spank them away. Oh man! Not my animals!
Logged from progression in the rotten core, I put my sights on E-Fall.
Marcosius, you are beyond reason! Ugh.
Either Marcosius here had munched on the rot himself, or he's directly affected by my rotten shenanigans. Anyway, he didn't look good.
Give me all the rot burn you have, or destroy the rotten followers, you foolish how. Oh, no way!
He coerced 2 of my rotten followers against me.
Please, let's communicate. Let's communicate. Use your words.
Pleading to deaf ears, I degraded myself low enough to mash them into pulp. Pointy-eared Scylla gave me a burning heart, dipping my hoof in this fiery pool. I tore down a few more of Marcosius' experiments, following the flattening of his effigy, and then fought a very evasive enemy. His vanishing shenanigans were quite annoying, but I eventually got him down.
Hey! I tripped and fell here, but you found me. I'll be going now. Thank you again for saving me.
Another crowning ceremony solved, and I got the wool of the resolute. I finally returned to a cult in harmony, no crisis begging for my attention. So I put down a ridiculous amount of rotburn mines, groomed the livestock, released a Yakish, Cowish and Lamish into the pen, and found Palmer back from a successful mission. That was it for today.
Got my cup of tea. Got my cult of the lamb. Got 3 heretics to the fight. It's got one hell of a day's work ahead of us. But the work of the lamb is never diminished. To quote the great cult leader Solomon, we got work to do.
I had a lot of harvestable devotion, but lacked the will of a cult leader to gather it all myself. So I built the collected shrine of disciples. That way my followers could both generate devotion and collect it for me, all in one place. That was one small improvement in an otherwise dysfunctional mess of a cult. I set about reorganizing the chaos, but it proved too much for my inept bureaucratic planning.
Oh, what a mess this is. Oh, well, we're not gonna even... Oh, it's just too much. I can't handle that. It's just too much. I need more people. Ape, you're doing good. Good ape, good ape, good ape.
Mr. Ape made me realize I was fed up with the cult's rich biodiversity. So sanctimonious indoctrination ceremony saw us evolve into an upright standing cult. I experimented with different variants and colors, of course, though most turned into snow gorillas. A few followers were apparently off limits, but they would surely die any day now anyway. I upgraded the janitor station and outhouses, placed a propaganda speaker by the mines, and a harvest totem over by the fields for an improved harvest. I then resurrected one of the rotten victims of Marcosius' self-righteous experiments.
And with the doctrine that I declared yesterday, they should live a little bit longer.
It gave me a commandment stone. I then ran off to buy another devotee from Helob, and right nearby traded wool for a follower form from this Babushkin shrine. Then it was off for my next crusade.
What? I didn't see the bomb. The bomb goes boom, but I didn't see it. I'm taking a lot of damage. I'm not doing a very good job here. With my first crusade of the day.
I died like 5 minutes later. I'd been too reckless with my follower expenditure lately, so I teleported back to the cult. My new follower from Helob got sent to the mines, and with food supplies dwindling, grassy gruel was today's meal prep. This strange starfish has been stealing precious gold and resources from us. It has to stop. If we could trap him with those wolf traps, but all he cares about is gold. Oh, are you talking about Midas? I don't have any wolf traps. Do I? I did in fact not have any wolf traps, but perhaps Mantis possesses the gift of foresight.
A lot of grass. A lot of grass.
But I didn't have much else, though I knew where to get some.
Berry. Those are the cheapest ones. That's what I'm willing to spend on my cults.
I admired my rotburn mines now in full production. I never really had a shortage of rotburn after this. Chocolate starfish died, strengthening our biotic homogeneity. So I did an inspiring dance and buried him in the crypts. He had earned his place among the greats. I was back crusading with my favorite cleaver again, and Clawneck granted me the gift from below, giving me a chance of gaining a blue heart when killing an enemy, and it generated a generous supply of hearts, which I lost just as quickly, but still, a net positive. These bow-wielding gremlins gave me a hard time.
Oh, get them. Seize them. Get them.
With them abolished, I got my goat, soon to be a snow gorilla. And for whatever reason, I replaced my cleaver with the necromantic flail. I don't know why. Must have been the god of war in me. Thoas now stood in my path. Having given away her youth in service of the Bishop Hecate, I insulted her.
Look at those crow's feet. Your age really shines through.
This crow-like magician kept sapping me with surging electricity, splintering in every direction. My flail swung hard, but it was Kudai's toenail that replaced my special ability with the Hounds of Fate. Facing just one enemy, this is bonkingly overpowered, as every projectile lands on a single target. She got mogged pretty easily.
What kind of little character are you? Doesn't really matter, because I take all sorts of characters. We don't discriminate back at the cults.
Guarded out back were the 4 lost souls, and Guffernon was spiraling even deeper, unable to tell right from wrong.
I made a new path for you. Wherever it leads, Inga be with you. And Inga be with you, Goffernon. Inga be with you.
That opened up the path to my first heretic. In full force, I fired up the furnace again to combat this cold, and collecting the harvest had me worried I'd undersupplied for this winter. My workers were still harvesting though, so I'd have to revisit this concern later. Chimpanzee professed his love for orangutan, so I gave him my blessing for marriage. Partly so I wouldn't have to marry either of them, and partly because I didn't want to lose any faith. I kept the Rotburn steady over at the mines, should Mercosius administer another one of his sinister experiments. Now, is he really any better? He knows damn well I won't suffer for this cult. That's what followers are for. I kept up with my bark refinement, as well as other materials. Welcomed Duolingo and Supper, previously known as Thoas, to the cult.
Because I like supper.
And prepared a bunch of berry bowls, as it didn't steal any resources from other dishes. I topped it all off with a few grassy gruels. There was a lot of work to do around the cult. I cleaned and tended my farm, milked this cow,
Consider yourself milked.
and released 3 new specimens into the ranch.
Hey, old monkey, young monkey, stop it. You might be different generations, but we gotta learn to get along! Yeah, I had a wedding to do.
See how generous I am? Putting this entire wedding expense on the cult's account. It's not all sunshine and sacrifices, but a few rainbows and weddings in the cult too. After the celebrations, I popped the souls back into the slot machine, buried the wool of the Resolute, and greeted the emerging Sariel. That left a total of 4 graves still empty.
How's the rot looking?
With a single path forward, I took my first step toward the unknown heretic, though I had my guess as to whom it was. I took a more cautious approach, keeping my distance to retain as much health as possible for the upcoming boss fight, and I did fairly well doing so.
Bye. I'd also cry if I looked like you.
I cry every night.
You'll be accepted back at the cult.
It all went downhill the closer I got.
Whoa. Oh. Oh.
But sure enough, I eventually reached the inner chamber, and there she was, the executioner. She had tried to make amends, but the cries of the lamb slaughtered still rang true in her head.
Leave me alone.
It might have been the slaughtered spirits slowly eating away at her mind, but I suspect something more rotten.
She is big, she's grotesque, she's full of rot.
I did little to no damage with my blunderbuss and special ability, and she had stolen my favorite axe-spinning move. What gives? As dead skeleton babies flung toward me, I created a buffer zone and dodged forward, firing off a few rounds, initiating Phase 2. Phase 2 meant a spiky wall, a skeleton mom with cadaverous babies in pursuit, and safe to say, she's as good a cleaver as I am. Baboon was worth the sacrifice, with enough of a life force to get her down to Phase 3.
I've weakened her a little more.
Cursing the unappeasable nature of the gods, she upped her crazy.
I don't blame you. Nor does thy lamb judge.
After a bit more dodging and a few sidestep scuttles, I earned my very first achievement, Swing of the Axe.
Take off that mask, let's see who you really are. I gave me nothing.
Turns out she had disobeyed the bishops more than once, losing an eye each time.
Do as you see fit, I am no stranger to the punishment of gods. I will do no such thing, I will pardon you.
I can't help it, I'm a lover of all, especially monkeys, the snow kind.
What kind of god are you? I'm a good god. Sometimes. Oh, I didn't get you as a follower? I thought I was going to get you as a follower. I wouldn't have pardoned you if I didn't think I would get you as a follower.
Freeze it. By the way, I just softlocked myself. By conquering the Executioner, you're supposed to get a legendary weapon fragment. But by not completing the first legendary weapon quest from Rami, you don't get the fragment. So I had to reload to a previous save and ran straight back to Rami.
Oh, and you should claim this as your own. What name do you wish to give this legendary hammer? I deem you Pimple Popper. No? That's lame. Widow's Wail. Oh, with the exclamation mark. So everybody knows how fierce it is. Widow's Wail! A worthy title for such a weapon.
Before challenging the Executioner again, I needed to clear a dungeon run with Widow's Wail exclamation point. But first...
What is this? Wolves incoming? Day 200? Midwinter celebration in the middle of the wolf attack? Really?
I was so invested in the attack that I completely forgot about the celebration afterward. It was complete pandemonium chasing off the wolves, and unfortunately...
Are you fine? No.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys. Rumpsteak and Napoleon had also fallen, but death gave room for life. I replaced them all with young prospects. Speaking of life, the egg we bought from Smog hatched into a baby dinosaur. His only trait was that of a poet, so we'll get no hard labor out of this one. I welcomed Van Gogh anyway and performed today's sermon.
Get some fate. No! Midas!
One of these days. I returned to Efol, now wielding Widow's Wail exclamation point. It was a real smashing time.
Yeah, 2 hits with this weapon, plus my 80% damage increase.
Oh, mamma mia. I got some wool from these frozen lamb statues, rescued a helpless kitty cat, got the deal tarot card, and then arrived at the Christmas tree, witness Ipos. He was quite swift and hurled exploding bombs at me. Considering I only had one heart entering the fight, I got pretty far.
No! Who will die?
Mantis Toboggan. How's that prescience working out for you? Thanks to Mantis, I could land the killing blow that rendered me victorious. So I sent the Christmas tree home, got a commandment stone, and picked up...
Rotten Eye of the Witness. Plimbers? Are you gonna want that?
We'll have to wait and see. I remember him being rather importunate about the others. There were no souls left waiting for me, so I teleported back home. This to another bout of pandemonium.
Don't die in the middle of battle!
A most untimely cardiac arrest. This time we only lost 1 meat bag.
Let's resurrect Toodles.
The stash was of course hit again after another sermon, and I indoctrinated both Pudding and Witness Ipos before heading back to complete Rami's first quest. Hilo kept his supply up with my sizable demand, and I changed into the Fleece of the Fates, instantly granting me 4 tarot cards at the start of each crusade.
Curse thy crotch.
I ran into Scylla's charming brother.
Charybdis. Hello.
He was very presumptuous in his request.
My sister, on mountain, bring her letter for me.
I of course accepted such a humble demand. I then accidentally bought another egg from Smog and fought my way forward. This was the perfect moment to replace my gauntlet.
I think the blunderbuss is actually a good choice here.
The blunderbuss is always a good choice. Once more, I danced with the executioner. I took a few hits, but the Hounds of Fate sought their target true.
Die!
This time, I wasn't so forgiving.
But you know, the rot is really... It's put me in a bad way, so I'm gonna execute you. I understand. No! I always feel bad after these kind of decisions. Then I can at least rest.
The execution was quite brutal. But the legendary fragment was mine, and the soft lock broken.
Orangutan has become gravely ill and will die, not rested.
So I threw him in the medical bay.
You recuperate now, Orangutan. You hear? All better. Pudding comes and just gives tribute.
I pushed through another indoctrination.
Bloody turd. Here we go. Nurture that thing. Okay, let's see. It might be my flock here that's very dirty. Was he dead?
Indeed he was. He and this other Yakish were a big part of the ever-growing hygiene problem. After their disposal, I cleaned my remaining flock, sheared whoever needs shearing, and prepared my pristine bovine specimen for delivery with a walk.
Well done, youngster. A fine ranching specimen. And I found a new ranching animal for you too.
Next up for domestication, a fierce turtle. I bought it alongside everything else. I could now hand over the executioner's axe to Rami. After brooding over its sad story for a moment, she recognized its turning point and restored it. I renamed it, of course, with a name fit for its new purpose.
Oh, another fine specimen heal up. Thank you. Guess I'll get started on the turtle right away. Yeah.
After the joyride, Chimpanzee got me to admit 2 sick followers to the cult. I sentenced them to bed rest immediately. I then performed the harvest ritual, sprouting new life into the soil and welcomed the cutest little friend.
Look at the little guy. Beautiful.
A cowish and a lamish also appeared. It's good to have friends. I walked my turtle with surprising speed, decorated this arbor with flowers, bought a tarot card from inside Kuka's tent, and realized my wool production would soon need a complete overhaul if I'd ever want to finish this 100% run.
48 wool? I want to need a lot of wool. A lot of wool. A lot of wool.
With night setting in, I went ahead to see what the old fox had to say.
Little lamb, how refreshing to see you. I thought our paths would not cross again. You have a strange habit of bending fate to your whim, huh?
He again enticed me with another trade, promising something special from an old friend of mine. All he demanded was a rotten follower in return. a treat to savor. I only had 4 and none to spare really, but how could I refuse?
Now there's the lamb I know.
It was totally worth it though, as I inherited Ratau's legacy at last.
Oh, it's another fleece. And I got the legacy thing, even though he's dead. Whew. Thank God.
Yeah, I'd been a wee bit worried I wouldn't be able to unlock that achievement. I guess murder and sacrifice pays off after all, as you shall witness here. I absolutely blistered through this crusade, wielding the legendary sword that I'd reassembled earlier.
Boom, boom, boom.
I had a real happy time with it. Apparently Kudai was the creator of this powerful weapon, once given to a warrior after smelting down their ancestral heirlooms to forge it. The warrior had slaughtered her parents with it, of course, but Kudai admired the blade nonetheless. It is a very fine blade, Kudai. With lightning-fast attack speed and a brain running on spikes of glucose, I tore through the rest and retrieved the wool of the warrior and harbinger. Back at the cult, I stocked the seed boxes with what I had, mainly grass for grassy gruels, then milked my cowish. It felt kind of perverse, to be honest.
What's happening over there? Do you have rotburn on your shell? Harvest the animal for rotburn. Okay.
Another reliable fuel source for the furnace, turtle-grown rotburn. I tended to both my flocks, cleaned the dirty, and resurrected a big part of the workforce.
One of these days I'm gonna get myself a wolf trap and I'm gonna catch you.
Midas wasn't my only problem.
I loved this place when I was young, but now my eyes are open. You are nothing but a false prophet. Okay. I don't tolerate that crap.
On a positive note, he'd have a lot of time riding on the inside. With another delivery from Helob, we had the 5 required for the next prayer, giving me another tarot card. 13 left to go. With no clear path ahead, I would need to find Goofernon for his digging expertise, and I realized the true meaning of his name.
It's gopher, right? it's a play on gopher. Oh my god. The enlightenment that I just felt. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
I ran into Bale, a former henchman of the One Who Waits. Separated from his brother in a storm, he asked my help, and he joined in smashing a few of Mercosia's experiments and a meaty affair.
A couple of steaks would be nice. The cults. Right, Bale?
Smashing a bit more, and he complimented my fierceness with a few encouraging words, and I ran into Barith. Barith vowed to worm herself into every possible market share. Though her designs had lacked the Barith's boutique look as of late, she would show that stupid Bob what she's capable of, starting off with a padded tunic. Bam, bing, boom, and I conversed with Gorgo. Just like the others before him, he cursed the old bishops, and will happily die on this hill for Mercosius. I may have used the word pandemonium too freely before, but right now it fits perfectly. With spheres circling his orbit, he was untouchable for the time being. But I finally got him down with one heart to spare. And his follower form was a bit of a mystery, sharing many similarities with a rotten follower.
You look like one of them. No, not really. Like a hybrid, half and half. Alchemist instrument number 3.
The best of all the alchemist instruments. I led Bale to the next room and the brothers were reunited. Two-faced, he immediately dismissed me as a usurper, but he did give me a cozy shawl, so I think I thawed his frozen heart just a little bit. As expected, Goofernon dug me one last path and bid me farewell.
One step closer to the root of the mountain.
I reiterated the tasteful teachings of the lamb to Van Gogh and then performed a mini-sermon to my loyal monkey acolytes.
That's a lot of level 1s. I need a new disciple to smack my cult into shape.
Toodles was anointed as my next disciple, but this wasn't what I really wanted. What I really needed was to perform and assign a loyalty enforcer. I'm sure my previous one had either croaked or perhaps faced my random wrath at some point. Anyway, some grassy gruel, gold forging, a ceremonial walk, and my turtle was ready for delivery.
Here you go. Deposit turtleish. Oh, crabbish.
The harvests were plentiful this time around, which was good, because...
Oh my god, winter's here. Turn on the furnace. Let it burn. Haven't seen a blizzard for a while. It's kind of nice. No, offense. Offense. No, not do.
I might have granted them a burial right away, but that doesn't mean I accepted their resignation through death.
Oh! Inga!
Feeling the pain of her lost lambs, she unleashed her problems on the world once again. Buildings would now be snowed in, rendering them useless.
Winter has yet again intensified.
Keeping up with my brainwashing, she chanted a choice set of words and then upgraded my furnace, unlocking heaters and a whole new row of buildings.
First off, let's check out the Divine Inspiration, and let's check out this. Ranch 2. Keep animals in your cult, assign a follower to care and clean your animals as a rancher. Hell yeah.
That was a no-brainer, really.
Finally. I get the trough first, and then I get the wolf trap.
There was still enough devotion left in the tank that I could immediately unlock the wolf trap as well.
Okay, we got the wolf trap. Oh, lightning will become a thing later on? This is Don't Starve. This is Don't Starve all over again. God damn it.
As luck would have it, I had enough shards to cover my entire cult with heaters, so snowed-in buildings never really became a thing. I then upgraded my ranches to level 2.
And the trough.
The trough. I placed down 2 in each enclosure.
Gonna need a few of these down here, I think.
My flock deserves it. I placed down more than a few.
Obviously, I need to lace it with bait of some kind, and I guess gold, because that's what he wants. Yeah, gold bars.
With everything prepared, I rushed to summon the gold-hungry monster the only way I knew how.
Though, why would he get trapped? I don't think he's gonna get trapped here. Oh, he comes now. So he's not trapped. No, I need to do something else. It's probably just next day or something. Oh! We got him!
I re-educated this chrysophilic fool.
I surrender, I give up. I'll do anything, please. Just stop hurting little Midas. Eat the rich, indoctrinate Midas. Yes, but you're no longer Midas. You're Sadim.
A hazing indoctrination later, and Midas was now officially part of the cult. After the ceremony, I grabbed 2 of the closest workers and reassigned them to ranching duty. This meant I could finally relinquish the responsibility of caring for them. My steak dinners are going to taste a lot worse without all of this emotional attachment. I did need to keep refilling the trough though, but the spoils were worth it. Smog's offspring Dino hatched. I chucked him in the pen and began his nurturing, then committed to a dungeon run wielding the executioner's axe. This was my absolute best crusade so far. I positively plowed on through.
Boom. Boom. Boom!
Reaching Elilith, there was nothing to say. Strict business. My curse froze him, slowing him down to an almost halt, and I could dish out whatever damage I could. He was a helpless mess.
I think you're the last one I need. Inga will lay down our lives of our own free will, in the hopes that you will hear us beyond death. I don't like that. Inga, we beg you to take this into your heart and forgive us. Inga, if we must die, then let us rot.
I don't think I need to tell you that things are not what they appear to be. Unless what things appear to be is rotten, then everything is appearing as they should be appearing and makes perfect sense. With the rotten indoctrination and what must have been my 11th resurrection, I prayed to the rotten statue once more. I got what you'd expect at this point.
Was that it? Do you need 7 now? Don't tell me you need 7, you need 7. You sick, sick mother.
There is always another sacrifice to be made. A final chapter drove out the last crazy from Van Gogh, just in time to enjoy a 1-minute blizzard, as I immediately dispelled it. Though trouble came howling in, the wolves were absolutely everywhere. I spanked my way through to see my wolf traps had done their job. To a point. There were at least 2 casualties. Andy was still sick, so he got a mending session in the bay, and I obtained the lightning rod. Unfortunately, it was much too expensive for the moment, so I left it for later. Leaving my crabbish to sit in my pocket until after the wolf attack had been a smart move, but he now joined the fold along with his friends Turtleish and Lamish.
I'll pet my crab, and then I'm gonna walk my crab.
Things you just do. After a crusading preparation and a return of holy ghosts, it was finally time.
Okay, Barack, it's time.
Time to show what these hooves are made of.
Haha! No! Ha ha ha! Yeah!
He went down smooth, giving me his flockade pieces.
Max wool, baby.
You'd think I'd be nervous with this high amount of wool on the line, but it only fueled my aggression.
Eat shit and die, Barack. How does my excrement taste in your mouth? Why, it's just a game. Yeah, you say that now. You say that now.
This earned me a new piece, the Wandering Shepherd. It introduced a new game mechanic, earning 2 points every time it would move. It was pretty sweet, actually. Rebuilding Shazak's chateau earned me an invitation to trade with him. I yet again showed Helob my purchasing power, replacing a rotten follower that had just died.
Thank you, Helob. Much obliged.
And I wanted to resurrect another, but the ritual was still on cooldown. So I picked up Chazak's invitation to trade. I bartered a bell plinth blueprint and a rot fountain. This triggered Chazak's quest board to appear, where he wanted me to build more than a few buildings. Mostly that of rot, and honestly, the cult is going to look great.
Balashka bushka. Balashka bashka. Bushki bushki.
As you can probably tell, I was pretty tired, so I finished this session with burying the wool of the Harbinger and focused on getting my crustacean in order.
Nothing out of the ordinary. Just walking my crab. My crabbish. What's it to you? Me walking my crabbish.
People are so judgmental these days. As impressed as ever, Barack offered his last agricultural challenge, to nurture a snailish to level 5. I of course rode my crabbish home and started working on this project at a snail's pace.
This is so stupid.
Back to the rotten landscape and its flying little gremlins.
tiny rotten brain slugs.
I found a corner full of treasure, and in the next room there was a bush enjoyer lurking in the corner.
Toodles. You sniffing flowers, Toodles?
He swears he was just admiring my slashing moves.
Thanks for those encouraging words, Toodles.
If I had known missionary meant a devilish campaign for my followers, I probably wouldn't have sent them out so willy-nilly. Though I do need material, and they are mine to command. After a fast-paced sliding puzzle, I walked away with 2 more rings of wool. That brought us one step closer to Marcosius, courtesy of another well-dug path from Mr. Goofernon.
We're getting close. We're getting close to Makriakroknonis. It's not far now.
As always, there were a lot of dead acolytes to bury back home. And as they're all snow gorillas, it was much easier to disassociate from death. They are now truly a squandering resource. My transformation is complete. A pack of wolves tried to get in a free meal, but my rigged traps and some hard spackage to carry that, boosting the entire livestock's level. So I rearmed my traps, finished burying everyone, and converted Brennayul
into Moon Baboon.
He is, without a shadow of a doubt, my new favorite. Expanding the burial grounds and a seasonal change was here.
Summer is upon us.
A couple of rock-burn mines had caved in, so I repaired those.
You grown up, Dino? You betrayed us all. Why is everybody dissenting when they grow up? I don't get it. Oh, you're leaving. I can't even put you in prison. He was mad out of his mind.
I let the old fossil leave and instead unlocked and built the racing gate. After I sent Narinder and Croc on another shard collecting mission, I carried on decorating Woolhaven. Just nearby there was an option to search, and I found poop. Intrigued, I continued.
I can search here as well. More poop? Maybe you can find something in these. Except poop. I mean, yeah. Poop's good though. Poop's good.
Oh, Asa and Kiro, found at last. Another well decoration and quest completed earned me a tarot card.
Such cheeky children, you're a very talented seeker, Shepherd. I am. I've been seeking my whole life.
The search would not stop here. They now hid somewhere in the cult. I spiced up the place further, quite rigorously, and jumped into what could be my last rotting crusade. I absolutely ripped through this campaign, and I had no shortage of healthy hearts, jumping from Smog to Kemak to Treasure to witness Mammon. I could do whatever I wanted with this amount of health, and I ripped his heart out. There was nothing at the end of this rotting crusade, so I put my hopes elsewhere.
Maybe I can check quick here if Helop's got another one. Oh, he does. Which is gonna give me 8. It's perfect, Helop. Well, coming in clutch.
King Kong joined the cult.
I don't know if you deserve the title, King Kong. There you go.
It was an acolyte kind of day.
I think I've resurrected this guy at least 3-4 times now.
And I would do it again. But luckily, following this offering...
It's done. It's complete. Whatever that was, it's complete.
It's worrisome how you participate in 7 of these rituals without giving it a second thought. Perhaps I'm just a devotional sheep too. Palmer took Croco's spot on the next missionary. Croco had suffered a nervous breakdown, as you can see here while I tended to Smog's offspring. I took charge of the kitchen, and later that day, I had the urge to cook something else.
Let's create something. Interspecies.
I played God, breeding forth a Lamish from 1 part Yakish and 1 part Lamish. Successful, I took it one step further.
See what this gives us. Nothing good, I'd imagine. We got a little snail. Okay, so I guess the crab gene is recessive. I don't know. Croco, go to sleep.
Delirious, he roamed about the cult, and I was unable to send him to bed. I let him be for now, focusing on refining more material, bark specifically, before heading over to speak with Plimbo.
Have a quest up here? At Lone Shack?
I found the rambunctious gang on a serious bender.
Oh, Lambie, good to see you. Good to see Lambie, isn't it, Bob? What's that, Bob? You want to go see Barrett? Oh, I don't think I can take you, Bob. I've got to win my hand back from Shroomy. But I reckon our lamb here wouldn't mind, would you? I got to hold Bob for like a second.
I took Bob and headed over to Smuggler's Sanctuary to sell the rotten eye of a witness.
Okay. Plimbo. Doop doop. Binga boop.
He called me a scoundrel and shooed me away to Spore Grotto. Fair enough.
What's wrong, Plimbus?
When I got back, I searched for the cheeky children. You can imagine how that went. So I instead focused on the interior design for Shazak's quest.
What do I want? I want a bucket of guts. Bucket of guts.
That'll do just fine, I thought, and added a wailing bush and a groaning pillar. It was very tasteful. Back to E-Fall, and the penultimate peak before a Marcosius showdown. I swung the axe once more.
I will bring you justice and free the others. I'm sure you will. Why are you so big?
Dino's enormous size was fueled entirely by hate. While he shot fire arrows my way, I sent Black Icar straight back. We didn't get him back as an acolyte, but I'm sure we'll still enjoy him back at the cult.
A letter from my brother? Oh.
Their way of communicating through the ether pool left a lot to be desired. Apparently she now needed a rod to fish up the letters. I pressed forward, sent home another follower, and reunited the unfaithful Bop and his sibling Bareth. It's unclear why Bareth held such wrath for Bop, but she said it would be best if I left. I had no objections and left the sibling rivalry to find a blunderbuss before running into Mester and his brothers.
Festor? What's the third brother's gonna be called? Nestor? It is!
They challenged the fate they believed still shackled me.
Am I gonna have to defeat all three of you? This doesn't seem fair.
A showdown of godly proportions is sadly seldom fair. Nestor had this laser shooting staff, Festor had powerful earth-shattering blows, while Mester... Yeah, Mester really didn't have anything special.
You guys really need to learn how to fight.
Except for that regenerative ability. That was pretty sweet.
Do I need to kill you all at the same time?
Indeed, they all took the floor, but were powerless to the might of my buzz. Sniffling, they begged for their lives. I accepted them all. I'm not too good for a few beggars. In the room adjacent, I picked up the lost souls and carried on home, where I indoctrinated Thornobre and the brother Nestor, Mester, and Fester. I believe Mester is a king of sorts during the late Bronze Age of Greece, but I can't recall any brothers.
There's gotta be a record for how many followers I have? 37. That's wild.
And wild were the spoils from Narendra's mission. I kept the conveyor belt rolling with anxiety next in line, upgraded the exorcism altar to level 2, and strapped up Van Gogh.
Shuffle traits. I need you to start working. Oh my god.
This is what it's all about. The altar alters the traits of my followers, and Van Gogh here kept writing poems instead of working.
Do I need to do anything? What is going on, guys? What is happening?
Like Van Gogh, I would spend a few more days around the cult instead of crusading. My first visit off-site was to Pilgrim's Passage, looking for a fishing rod, and there was only one aquatic man creature I knew with such a tool.
Hey! Kiddo, what do you want? I've got my fins full. My manly hands are full of man business.
Seeing as his man fins were freezing, he'd offer me his spare rod should I find something fluffy to warm him with. I had just the thing.
Go on, take it off my fins. Ants.
Still delirious, I finally threw Croco in the medbay. Clinically insane, no more.
You're really hungry, Croco. Let me fix you up something real good. Let me fix you up a modest meal.
My kindness must have left a lasting impression, because Croco wanted me as his Valentine. I declined.
Boundaries, Croco. Boundaries.
I appreciated the milking skills of Rancher Gibbon for a bit, before noticing that Croco had gone down the dissenter's path. Such pain is the open wound of a heartache. I locked him up, of course, and then went ahead with a few renovations.
Cold mother, by your crown, you kept the world at bay. Dead mother, we call you still. Stay, stay, stay.
It revealed another jam-packed quest board. Mingling with the inhabitants, I drunkenly gave away 100 wool to Earldom. To be fair, it was something I had to do down the line anyway, but the price was somewhat steep. I fired up the blue beam of cold and received my final gift from my ovine prophet, the ability to thaw a frozen follower with a simple touch. This unleashed winter level 5, where lightning strikes may occur. I unlocked another building, this time the work tent. First things first, safety. That means refining gold ingots into coins and later gold bars, to afford the lightning rod. Van Gogh's exorcism exercise was complete, flipping writing for heavy drinking. Fair enough. Next up, Pudding's apathy. He hibernates all winter. For a working man's cult, it's a problem. I woke the last 3 spirits and had a chat with Sava, Yoraba, and Timi.
All have been buried. All spirits have not been returned, though. I think I have a few more spirits. 100 wool? Jesus.
The demand for high-quality wool would soon skyrocket, so I would somehow need to figure out how to at least triple my production. I started by releasing what animals I had cooped up into the pen, though I would need woolier options than snailishes. So I started a rigorous breeding program.
So let's make another cow. Or have your seed been spent? No? You're still ready for another fight. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is bruised and spongy.
It was indeed a mating frenzy.
You're coming for my treasure now, aren't you? Oh my god. Are you gonna...
He's gonna. And he left. Peak dragon behavior. Croco had been successfully rehabilitated, and a blizzard barged in, but it blew over pretty quickly.
I got so much rot burn. Doesn't really matter.
I worked hard at printing money when I suddenly remembered I could sell stuff. And I had a lot of stuff, but not the right stuff to cook. So I bought beetroot seeds. They were really expensive.
I'm a broke cult leader. That's not very good.
All cult leaders are broke at some point. Isn't that why we all get into this lucrative profession? I offloaded some more superfluous wares.
Just so I have a little bit of cash.
Stock the seed and poop boxes. It's important not to mix those two together.
Ooh, search. Oh, search.
And I found out someone had hidden poop in my temple. But eventually,
Oh!
the cheeky children took off immediately. I decided it was time for a change.
Oh, my lord. Oh, my lord, my lord, my lord.
Might as well get used to this overwhelming rot. Apparently Asa and Kira was now hiding in Pilgrim's Passage, so I headed out to spy.
Jump down. Ooh, jump up. Ah, okay. How far can I go? Oh, is this a Don't Starve reference? I don't know. Might just be a squid trapped. Interact. What's this? Ooh, hello.
The frozen sea hid many secrets.
That's a Don't Starve reference, though.
I continued the expedition.
Oh, big whale.
With a big mouth. Sort of.
Ooh, treasure. Are they hiding here, maybe? Yeah, they're hiding here. Oh my god. Kira, we got found again.
They sped off as usual, leaving me to do some ice fishing.
Oh, a legendary fragment. I'm on a roll.
I dropped another line, hauling in a veritable resource package, and headed back out.
Riverboy. Oh, Riverboy. That's Riverboy did all the music for the original Cult of the Lamb, I think. But then he sadly passed away. This must be an homage to Riverboy. That's nice.
It was a beautiful thing indeed, immortalizing him in the art he helped to shape. And I gladly sucked him through the cult portal to indoctrinate later. I found a few more things on the frozen sea before heading back to reforge the crossbow of Plimbo.
Plumbers, a worthy title for such a weapon. Give me all your divine inspiration juice.
The immortal music lover Riverboy waited patiently to be indoctrinated. Apparently he doesn't work, but I'm sure he'll deliver some magnificent flute tunes later, and you can't really put a price on flute tunes. I kept up with the wool demands through endless breeding.
I'm really pushing you guys through it.
And then headed over to the Spore Grotto in search of Asu and Kiru, but hiding behind the fungi forest, I found someone else.
Hello. You look like a strong thing. An open-minded kind of thing. You need a job? I already have a job. Thank you. Do you know about... Okay. Witnesses, yes, I do know about those.
She was looking for a new eyeball supplier, seeing as Plimbo's prices had reached exorbitant levels, and she didn't mind them rotten either. In fact, she preferred it. I sold both for a relic each.
Well, goodbye, and remember, I was never here, we never met, I don't know you, you don't know me. Haha, bye, stranger. Oh, okay, we're done. Cheers.
Cheeky Asa and her sister hid behind the molten shell of Sozo. They immediately called for a rematch. I left them to linger in their crushing defeat while preparing my next organism for delivery.
Riding my snail to Barak. Dude, I'm gonna leave him to Barak, and I'm gonna get a spider-ish.
With the final specimen approved, Barak's quest board was complete, and one of Inga's 6 spells chimed true.
How'd I get the fleece of the rancher, dude?
There were fleeces to unlock, and I figured I'd get the rancher fleece from the rancher.
Coming through, watch out, coming through.
With agriculture now partially complete, I focused on other ventures, like Shazak's request for exterior evolved decorations. I built 3, and then inspected Woolhaven more closely, unlocking exactly what I've been searching for.
Well, I got a new fleece. Fleece of the rancher. Made to protect those who roam far. Provides no bonuses. Okay.
It did provide a musky scent though. This was the first quest over at Sariel, and I got a lore tablet for my trouble. I had enough wool left for the Stargazer fleece. It also provided nothing. I'm wasting a lot of wool on capes that I'll never wear. This left a sour taste that only rebellion could purge, and Marcosius was still waiting. Ascending the stairs, I was met with a forebodingly familiar spread of weapons.
A Plumbus though. I could go Plumbus. I could defeat him with Plumbus. Shoots multiple projectiles. That's also so effing good to get right now.
And I was happy to find another fragment hiding behind this drift of snow.
We walketh up. Some say to our doom.
The lamb is going to war.
On its peak stood the mountain scalper Marcosius. I don't know what it had been up to, but it didn't look too good. Munching on mushrooms, most likely.
Wretched, miserable, what have you done to me?
He accused me of this rot, and to be fair, he made a couple of good points, though he was very aggressive, and to the point. This is Marcosius, the former wolf.
Oh my lord! Whoa! Oh my god, he shoots... I want to say penis, but it might be something else. Intestines. Yeah, let's go with intestines instead.
Whatever this protruding thing was, it was long and it was meaty. A full meal, some might say. I began by unleashing my fervent curse.
Enter phase 2. Long slithering arm phase 2. His short intestines is what you want to hit.
You call that short? I'm embarrassed. His thunderous claps fired off rings of fire, which were kind of hard to dodge, but my curse worked its magic. Luckily, his meat projectile kept destroying these rotten stalagmites. Actually, I don't really know what it was, but it helped me replenish my fervor levels for some sweet curses.
Oh! Lasers! Not cool. Oh, multiple lasers.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. It was pandemonium.
Chaos. It's chaos. I don't understand what's going on. I don't think you understand what's going on. All I know is I need to kill this turd. Am I doing any damage at all? I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on.
But that's generally how I go about things, and that stratagem hasn't failed me yet. I then delivered my final blow, defeating the giant canine polyp.
No. 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 Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes, I had managed to remove the scalper. He was pretty mad about it all, and refused my attempts to subjugate him.
What do you mean no? Yes.
This went back and forth for a while.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
He made one last act of defiance and sucked himself dry. And I got the heart of a heretic. He would have made for a cool acolyte, but this will have to do.
The last 4. We were lost, but now we're found, our shepherd. Take us to her. We are ready. We are ready. We are ready to rot. It is time. The ritual, let it all end.
I do one last spirit vacuum and head back to the cult, where I'm of course met with someone dying.
Let me inspire you. Can't let a good death go to waste. How's the flute coming? How's the flutage, river boy? Sounds good.
Transcendent.
Oh, I don't have enough wool. I'm woolless.
But not soulless. I returned them all to Inga one last time, and she shot her blue beam to the sky one last time. She proclaimed that with the predators gone, it was time to complete the ritual, and her path opened up. Ooh. Such an epic battle would have to wait a while. I had significant amounts of wool to produce.
Yes. Clean up your own discharge, or whatever it might be. Clean it up! I ain't gonna touch it.
After a quick recap of the achievements left to earn, I jumped back into the everyday life of a cult leader.
Whoa. Yeah, they usually tend to die in 2s.
Blush requested a visit to the mating tent with Abbas. Fornication in pursuit of the perfect acolyte is strongly encouraged in the cult. And as luck would have it, Blush had the highly sought after pedigree gene.
Pedigree level 2. The grandchild of this follower will receive chosen child trait. The chosen child.
Serendipitously, I was sent down the correct path of the gene pool.
You honor me, great leader. I'm eternally grateful for the coitus you so dearly graced me. Doop, doop.
With another fragment, we reforged the Defiler of the Divine Gauntlets, completed 2 decoration requests for Shazak, sent Kroko on a Jubark mission, and returned to Smuggler's Sanctuary at dark to uncover another hiding spot. I would spend upwards of 5 days micromanaging my cult, obligations, and ranch. After mending supper of his afflictions, he blurted out words of accusation. Duolingo was possibly a spy. I knew Duolingo to be old, so...
Better talk to him before he dies.
I found no faults, and anywho, he'd probably die or break a leg pulling off a heist at his age.
Oh, it's a whole other section here that I've missed.
That meant I had 4 commandment stones waiting.
Who must burn to keep the cult warm?
My followers had yet to produce any wool while shearing them, so it was a pretty easy choice for me. I topped off my foreboding follower commandment with an uplifting sermon. I'm getting pretty good at this cult thing. It was then time to do the seemingly impossible, to pour my entire will and being into something absolutely horrifying. It was time to master Falcade, and I had already mastered the Wandering Shepherd piece.
Let's see if I can get 4 points now then. Boom!
I thrashed through Kuka and Rami, gaining each of their set pieces.
The Rotten Shepherd. When played, all pieces on the opponent's side have blessings nullified. That's a good piece, that is. A real good piece.
It was actually a really good piece. Shame I never used it. Shazak was no trouble. I did lose a game or 2 to Sariel though.
I demand satisfaction from you.
Satisfaction was eventually achieved.
Do I get the achievement? Without all the pieces? Ah, I've been defeated. Very good. The Golden Shepherd guide us to riches of land, of lore. Of herd? Of herd. I'm missing one piece? What? Collect all flockade pieces. Well, it's... What? It said 35 out of 36, right?
With age, I've come to realize that there's no use arguing with maths.
My collection is complete. You may be the greatest flockade player in history. Ain't no thing. The maths did not math, though.
Shazak had requested a bell fountain and 3 jukebox decorations. So I took care of those, finishing off Shazak's quest line.
Now you finally created something beautiful. I must admit, I admire your taste. You told me what to build.
Did I manipulate Shazak, or did he manipulate me? I'm not sure.
Did my game just crash?
I believe so, and loading back into the game was no fun.
Oh, no! No! I need to do everything again! No!
All my hard work, now rolled back a couple of hours.
Yeah, well, that's it. I don't want to play anymore right now.
But it wasn't long before the challenge of Blockade stood before me once again. I cemented my superiority and erected the buildings to walk out a winner once more.
Woo!
Back on top again. I claimed a new bonus-less fleece, bought the remaining blueprints from Shazak, and a storm blew in while emptying the morgue, which meant another lesson in hide-and-seek over at Midas's cave. I mostly withdrew poo, but I got them in the end, and they finally surrendered. Here's an off-the-cuff pro tip for you. Keep Rotburn readily available in the mines for any unwanted blizzards. That way Marcosis is often left with nothing but thin air. My pedigree level 2 child hatched. I was a bit harsh naming him. Coca was so impressed with my child hunt that she rewarded me with a tarot card. That meant that there were now only 2 boards to go. While blowing off some steam building a snow lamb, I got a nice surprise, and could declare the life of the ice doctrine. This ritual could temporarily imbue my snow lambs with life, so I built 3 more. Some were more successful than others, and then rushed to perform the ritual.
Hey, do you wanna build a snow lamb?
For reasons unknown, tension between my snow monkeys and snow lambs erupted immediately.
You're fighting with a reanimated pile of snow. Get a grip, witness, I suppose. Get a grip.
Their bickering reminded me of work left undone. I had a mother to discipline.
I'm sorry, mother. I'm sorry. Rotten fairy, god, hoof mother. I will have to destroy you.
Reminiscent of Marcosis and the One Who Waits, a spread of weapons was again presented.
Ooh, oh. What? What just happened? What'd she steal? It is time to complete the ritual.
Looks like I'm going to have to put Mother down with one right in between her eyes.
We are close, so many years lost in the cold, and we are close. We are close. We are ready to rot. I'm not ready to rot. I'm very much alive. It is time, the ritual, let it all end. Heed our call, the mountain calls you home. Come home, lost lamb. Come home.
The heart of the mountain beat before me, all gathered.
The heart of the mountain, Inga's heart, cut from her chest by you.
There are always bigger gremlins to fry. They apparently created this rot to consume the world when the very last lamb would fall. But here I stand.
Maybe Inga is actually controlled by Barak and the others.
Notice how I directed my accusation toward Barak. Something tells me he's extra smelly. Anyway, like the heretics before, they demanded I lay down my life to complete their pagan ritual.
This time I didn't get a choice. I have to decline. No!
They reiterated.
No.
And again.
Then the world will rot. I said no. Why is the music awesome?
Like her beating heart, rings of fire slowly pulsated, claiming most of the available space. So I took aim at the far end of the pillar's center.
Whoa! 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 What's happening? Are they attacking her as well? She's losing health. Extremely fast. What is going on?
Ah! I didn't even realize it, but I whacked her so hard the manipulative spirits flew right out of her. She was also taking serious damage by either herself or the spirits periodically.
Defeat Inga? She's already dead? Marcosis was a lot harder.
Once more I had succeeded. Once more, this world had been purged. The eyes of Inga's disciple quickly opened, and they were pretty remorseful about it all. And out burst Inga.
The mother of all lambs. Inga? Where? What has happened? Oh, I don't remember. Am I your flock? Dang right you're my flock. Back to the cult, baby. I win all. Convert all.
After having rocked the credits, I emerged to a wolfy assault. It was a bit messy, but seeing as my livestock remained unscathed, they all got a healthy dose of experience.
I beg you, indoctrinate to your cult. I will not stray. What kind of awesome traits do you have?
They were quite awesome. Her wooliness prevented her from freezing. She's highly conductive. I'm not sure why that's good, but it just is. She works 30% faster during winter, and she's a coprophiliac, probably due to all the rotten poop she's been digesting.
You know what? I've thought of a better name for you, Mother. You worship. And you worship good.
I arrived back to Woolhaven for a purging ceremony, and it echoed throughout the mountain. We are well on our way to remove the rotten stain from memory now. But I had things left to do and left to buy, and the requirement was a whole heap of wool, which is why I expanded with 2 new ranches, seeing as I would need a lot of new livestock. Materialized again, Mother wanted to dance, to feel her legs flail about in a glorious bonfire ritual, level 2. Sure, I said, but I first declared the thick skin trait, and now Mother ain't the only one not to freeze during blizzards.
Bonfire ritual. That's the one. That's the one Mother wanted to experience with her new flock. And I'm gonna give it to her. Much obliged.
She was very pleased. I finished the enclosures, I of course upgraded the ranches to level 2, and jumped into a crusade, where I picked up this guy.
You're gonna become a monkey though. Those are the rules of the cult. I didn't make them.
It's all a divine calling. Scylla got her letter retrieval device, and I got my fragment in return.
Allow me to restore it. Yes, you're very persistent, Rami. You're very persistent. Here you go.
Reforged from the flame came the dagger of Nera. I renamed it to Daggeroo.
Why is Toodles dead? You're all supposed to be alive. I specifically requested it. Why did Toodles just magically disappear? Why is Armadjul dead?
Mother then bestowed me with another quest, to cover the entirety of Woolhaven in bloom. If you dissect it, she basically just told me to replace the old flowers in a few vases, but I liked the grandeur of it all. As you know, I needed to breed wool producers, so I sprinkled in a few sinful activities in between my main objectives.
Let's declare the last of our winter doctrines. Is it flesh or fleece that makes one worthy?
The ritual of shearing doctrine would give me double resources from animals for a day. That was very tasty. I then rang the bell of sin, and we danced around naked for a bit. After the hedonistic parade, I looked for the last flower pot.
Wool of the night? What? Where's the flower pot? I've missed a wool of the night? Woolhaven Reborn. Complete everything in Woolhaven?
Something was awry.
That can't be right. I mean, I still have the dagger, at least. It's gotta be a bug, right?
Indeed it was. I still had a few more achievements to unlock before that should have been triggered. That meant a crusade with a blade, and the dagger's heavy attack was very strong. I used it all the time. Smog even got a taste.
You never intended to go back to the cult, did you?
Let's hope Mama Smog doesn't get wind of this.
Bam.
Inga took me aside and said, "Boy, let me tell you what. Apparently it was me all along. I was always destined to clean up the mess of the old faith and reshape the world. And for my sacrifice, she granted me her fleece." I continued by crossing off the dagger run, completing Rami's quest board. There was still one weapon left, but I had no quest, direction, or idea how to get it. This greedy goat demanded 100 wool, and he gave me the last relic. Sariel was the last quest giver. She, along with everyone and everything else, now basically just demanded piles and piles of wool. So I upped the mating juice generation and popped a few more into the pen.
No snailish's, no crabishes, only lamishes, cowishes, and yakishes. Yonkishes? Indeed. No, okay, oh! What? We can... That's ascending?
Everyone who lacked wool got designated for ascension.
Snail heaven awaits! Oh, great snailish!
I initiated another mating frenzy, and waited until most animals got their new coats in, before performing the ritual of shearing.
Harvest 2 times the resources from ranch animals for 1 day.
While in the temple, I also unlocked Winter's Touch. Now I could enable or disable Winter with the push of a button. I went a little crazy with the shears, and it looked like Lamish and Cowish generated the most wool, regardless of level.
75, 20, 60... 50, 140. Oh, there's so many. There's too much. There's too much. Achievement hidden and restore all legendary weapons. So there's another one. There's another weapon somewhere. And there's a hidden achievement.
For my next session, I knew what had to be done.
Okay, so bad news, nobody. We need to beat Inga without attacking her. Yeah. How on earth we're supposed to do that? That's another thing.
I knew I'd need a few extra hearts to increase my margin for error, so I cooked up and ingested a splendid vegetable dish. I also threw together a magnificent mixed meal, but apparently you're just allowed one health boosting dish. I then sorted through my fabric for the perfect fleece, and a sinister smile hit my lips as I caressed my old mentor's cape.
Scratchy. with a distinct smell. Burrow in dungeons using fervor. Let's try that. Maybe I can just burrow down and wait. Oh my god, have I figured it out? Have I figured it out? I think I have.
With a trashy and distinct smell, I set my GPS to the root of the mountain. Clonic blessed me with a tarot card, though I was a bit apprehensive if those deceased hearts would count as an attack when getting hit, and I wasn't in such a hurry I couldn't swoop up the odd follower.
Oh, a free follower. They took it all. What am I meant to do? You're meant to obey. Obey your master.
Eyes to more eyes with the rotten ovine, I wondered how many attempts this would take to carry out.
Ah! Inga!
Restless, I rode the rim of the circle back and forth.
I mean, I'm allowed to take damage. I mean, it's just the deceased hearts that I'm a little bit cautious and worried of. You do you, Inga. I'm just gonna stand here. How do I even burrow, by the way? I gotta try that. Oh!
I didn't plan on it, but I had stumbled into a guaranteed victory.
Okay. Is she gonna take damage when I do this? When I just stay like this? She's taking damage, and I can't take damage.
This is one for the ages, boys.
Nah, I'm not gonna do that. It's a great thing, though. That's how you beat this boss if you want to know. What a cool find. But we're hardcore here at the Babaganush veritable viewership channel.
I still have the stinky fleas though. Boop. And would burrow as much as sheepishly possible. Boop. I rendered her attempts useless and taught her a lesson in humility and rodent burrowing expertise.
Defeat Inga without attacking her. First try. Flawless. I am the chosen lamb. Boom, baby!
With the sole objective of refining and optimizing the cult's wool manufacturing, I would heavily deprioritize my cult and focus on my woolly friends. This meant another rigorous breeding program fueled by the sinful ways of the cult. While preparing an ice-cold organic smoothie, I first discovered it had a 30% chance of adding a random follower trait. That was pretty cool. It also worked wonders for befuddlement.
Bye. I could care less. I want to trade. I want to trade for wool. I don't want to sell wool. I want to trade for... Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? Can't I go and find wool out on a mission?
The numbers weren't overwhelming, but I sent out Narendra and Leshy to collect what could be collected. I also upgraded the building to level 3, allowing me to send out a third missionary.
You sinful beasts!
My befuddlement doctrine had started to pay dividends. Even Mother partook for the good of the cult. This gave us a new batch of woolly broodlings. I then took my spare wools and offered it to a couple of graves, giving me 2 new fleeces, 2 lore tablets, and a checkmark for Cyril's quest board.
The last tick has been tucked. Oh! The fragment. I got the fragment.
But my wool production couldn't keep up with my demands.
You have returned safe. 2 wool only, Chain Leshy?
Unfortunately, Idiot Child did no better.
I didn't expect more from you, but Leshy?
I might need to consider some sort of quota enforcement. Several cult members are severely underperforming. But I'm part of the team, a visionary, a leader. I jumped into a crusade to pull my straw to the stack, where I ran into the reinvigorated Barrett.
Bob and I have had a breakthrough. It's a therapeutic miracle. A whole new line, a whole new brand, Barrett and Bob. A clothing brand? Here, take this, spread the word. It will be a revolution. This is gonna be some parachute pants. An epic leopard print dress. For the fierce and feisty. For the old wrinkly. For the ones in denial. Happy to take it. Thank you, Barrett. And Bob. Obviously, it's a collaboration.
Further up the mountain, I got a package of wool and would then die to Mercosius, losing a small amount of my hard-earned resources. But I had enough to restore Inga's torment.
Maker of Legends. Restore all legendary weapons. I think that's all of the achievements, actually. 100% Cult of the Lamb. 57 out of 57.
Numbers and figures extended to the absolute limit brings a sparkle to one's eyes. But the voice of Saruman still lingered in the back of my head. My hard work would not count unless I could scrape together the remaining tarot cards, relics, outfits, follower forms, blueprints, and lore. It was a massive grind. As you can see, I had quite the farm at this point, and here I am floating a bit while waiting for their coats to regrow. I should have smeared them with a bottle of Rogaine, to be honest. During day 244, I sheared my way to a new fleece, this time the Pretenders.
Fluffy and kinda gross, provides no bonuses.
I continued sending missionaries on unnecessary and dangerous missions of wool retrieval, kept up with the breeding program, and I was quite the wool trimming master now.
Wool me up, baby, just wool me up, baby, gotta get me some wool. 340 wool. That should be more than enough, right?
It was enough for a grave offering and 2 spiritual tributes consisting of 100 wool each.
Wool you very much. You're woolly kind.
It was all a grind, to be honest, but there was room for some playfulness too. Racing.
Oh, let's go, let's go.
I was the only participant, and yet my fragile psyche still gave out.
It's not gonna be the best of races. Wow, the adrenaline that I feel right now is immeasurable. Woo! Under a minute! Under a minute! Oh my god, I'm so good. Oh my god.
After what was a most thrilling race, I double-checked what I was missing. Quite a few outfits, bits of lore, and a few blueprints, to name a few.
I have no idea how to acquire those, though.
But I knew I needed to investigate the altar further.
Beast of blizzard, rest till storm and hunger calls.
This prompted me to return later during a blizzard.
Look, there's some big dark matter here, behind here. We're probably gonna get a blueprint or something. Unnamed knight, smallest champion berry. Okay, here we got it. We actually got it.
That got me another fleece. We're making slow progress. My only other idea for retrieving the remaining outfits was to repeatedly visit Barrett and Bob, and so far it remained fruitful.
Oh yeah, no, wait a minute. I've forgotten to buy these, the tarot cards.
I could only afford one of the 3 remaining. I then headed back to Double B for a layered jacket. I could eventually afford the last 2 cards from Kuka, leaving 1 to go.
Maybe speak with Klonko and Bop and those guys one more time.
Mute and probably wasted. They had nothing to say or give me. I also spoke with Plimbo again, but he mostly complained about the weather and his cold mother-in-law. Barrett and Bob were now all tapped out of inspiration.
Big forehead, big forehead, big forehead.
But I would stay in the rotten caverns for a while, until I finally ran into the gardener again. Luckily I had flowers to spare. My first 2 visits got me a blueprint, 2 unique followers, and a tarot card.
It's the last of the tarot cards. The Joker. Yes, I agree. This is Mantis Toboggan. I'd hate to remove your form, but I gotta.
With Mantis's shape conforming to the rules of the cult, I ran back to the gardener, acquiring the last of the outfits. I think my last outfit in the original game also alluded to poop. It's a hot topic over at Massive Monster Studios. Smog was the answer to a few more unique follower forms. I tended to his egg with care, and then hurried back to uncover the last lore tablet.
Bunch of stuff in these flowers. Kakanoka!
When I returned home, I was happy to see a blizzard raging, so I ran straight to the altar.
Place offering. Lamish, sorry, you need to be.
Oh, the monster reminded me of the little girl dressing up as a monster in Monsters, Inc.
Recharging. Oh, f off.
It's not fair. I had to wait for another blizzard for my next sacrifice. But since I could turn blizzards on and off with a flip of a switch, I could induce another storm fairly quickly. Smog hatched 1 last egg for me. I also got the last flower-trapped follower as well.
Come a chameleon.
And I thought I would lend a helping hoof to Panajul, struggling with this block of ice.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was gonna help you. Oh, you're happy again.
Forgive and forget. Applying a bit of eugenics, Idiot Child and White Monkey got the mating call for breeding forth the next line of pedigreed children.
The child of this follower will receive the chosen child trait. Oh my. Yeah. It's a sweaty ordeal.
They did good. Over at Pilgrim's Passage, there was an egg with the face of a goat, so I retrieved my best goat attire and summoned forth a new blueprint. There was also a crescent moon symbol in front of this Haru statue, so I waited until dark and returned for my final blueprint. Then one of the 3 eggs hatched, a dino. I sacrificed a couple of Lamish, sorry dudes, and was now 2 follower forms short of the complete set.
Alright, let's feed this Yeti one last time. Let's give him something good. Let's give a cow. Let's give him a cow. Let's give him a cow. Let's see if he likes it. Let's give him a cowish. Cowish for you. There it is. Looking weird. Bye.
The 5th line lit up, and an ominous crimson mist swirled high.
Ah!
My child, chosen ? Was now an adult and ready to mate. Hopefully the next in line will be the chosen one. And on day 275, Neo hatched. But the follower form was still locked away. I let Neo float around the cult for a few days, and on the 5th day, Neo had the calling for the caves. I placed him on the golden chair. He conferred with the gods of gold, and they gifted me with a permanent half heart. He also left me his follower form to remember him by.
It's time for me to weave. I will weave you with this to remember me. Follower form. Oh. Finally, I got them all. Bye.
And that was that, the final piece of the 100% puzzle. And I had once again proven myself to be the most awesomest of gods. Bye.
And eat your vegetables.